I mean, so it was not tear gas what they did in Washington D.C., right? It was just smoke, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
Correct? I think.
I'm not sure about that. It's
I'm not sure. I
very.
just know there was smoke, and I'd never wish for anyone to get hurt.
Of course not. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just,
Smoke them out.
I wasn't there.
Yeah. No, of course. Yeah, I mean, the optics are always going to look bad when you do. I mean, you know, I don't want to. I support Trump in a lot of things, and I support him on, and I'm vocal about the things I don't support him for. And, you know, so I'm still, you know, so it's hard. I listen, you listen to the, even a lot of like these like, conservative, like the new age conservatives and stuff like that love them, and they're all like all the Q guys and the patriots and all that stuff. I love that. I love that.
It's hard to stay neutral these days.
But even that is super extreme. And you know what? I want to point out one thing. Okay, this is all part of this whole fucking red pill bullshit too. What I'm seeing, even to like, I follow like In the Matrix, Edge of Wonders. I'm not trying to blast out anybody on your podcast, Daniel. Sorry, but like,
I don't care.
And like,
it's fine.
No, I know. I'm just fucking around. But what I've noticed, and some of these podcasts are saying is they're saying stuff like, okay, when you're trying to explain this stuff to your relatives, you can't just hit them with the child pedophilia shit right away. You know what I mean? Satanic pedophiles that worship Saturn.
How do you guys dose that? How do you dose that to people?
Dude, that's why the red pill thing makes it's so subliminal. It's like the red pill, you take one a day and you're happy. You take one a day, a little bit every day, and you get a little bit more. Oh, now you got to take 2 pills a day just to catch the same buzz. and so they say things like, which I don't agree with. I don't know why I don't agree with it. It seems controlled in the sense that they say some shit like, yeah, when you're explaining this stuff to your friends and relatives, start off with the basic stuff, you know, and then work your way up to the crazy shit. And it's like, all right, this just sounds like a controlled agenda. It's weird.
Right. All the red pilling?
Yeah, it fucking sucks, dude. Everything, you got to come only to End of Days Radio to get unbiased truth.
I'm loving it.
That may or may not be true.
Yeah.
This is what I see happening. I do agree with that. I think a lot of it is social media, because I was around when the internet was more free. It was like the Wild West. There was a lot of message boards, blogs, all kinds of different ways you could spread news and get activism together and stuff like that. But now it's like we're all on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and we're kind of all forced to use the same platform. And once you get everybody on the same platform and they start to introduce censorship, it gets really bad because the people kind of just lose all their voice. Would you agree with that, Max?
Right. Yes, most definitely. That's what I was also shouting out this week at the protest. Every time I try to speak up, I'm like, hey, I'm being censored right here in real life. Whatever we can do, like, I want to definitely participate big time in that battle. Oh, sorry. So call it conservatives calling. Yeah.
We don't like what you're saying. Shut up.
Didn't the Donalds just sign something against Twitter censoring people, right?
Yeah.
Oh man, what about, okay, I'm so glad you guys brought this up too, but what about this whole Twitter and anonymous thing? It was so obvious the day Anonymous posted that it was all complete and utter bullshit. And say what you will about QAnon and whatever the fuck, I don't care if you like it, you don't like it. No, I support a lot of it.
Anonymous are one. Is it one or 2 different ones?
No, 2 different people.
Okay.
Or cool. 2 different things. Anonymous is that they've been around for a while, the Legion or whatever the fuck, and like it just has the stench of Twitter. Basically, Jack, you know, is anonymous. You know what I mean? It's like It's fucking
Wizard of Oz.
And so they brought up the old stuff too, and then on top of that, you could just the way that all that shit got promoted right away was such utter garbage.
Yeah. So, you guys, in terms of censorship, what about like the hashtags that are trending as of late? Expose Bill Gates, Chaz changing their name to Chop. You think that had to do with it too? Like as far as suppression and things go?
I don't know, Daniel. What do you think about that?
I am so sorry. I was fixing something here on my end. Can you repeat that, please? I was multitasking. I'm so sorry. I was doing like 5 things at once.
It's okay. It's okay.
But like, we're just talking about censorship and voices getting drowned out and all that. And with Chaz changing their name to Chop, do you think that was part of drowning out some news that people are trying to get out?
Well,
for example,
from the very beginning, the name Chaz kind of struck a chord with me because I actually read the book, The Temporary Autonomous Zone. It's from like the 70s or 80s, and it's about creating a little like island of freedom where there are no conventional rules. The best analogy would be like a pirate ship. And Dave is gonna know what I'm talking about. I built a web forum years ago that was supposed to be like a Taz. There's supposed to be no rules, and it kind of worked. It kind of didn't. There was like when we had to introduce rules, it got really ugly because there were no rules. And how is this going to be approached in the Chaz? Like, okay, we're cool now. Everybody's getting along. And I already see it happening a little bit. What happens when somebody does something that upsets another person? Who arbitrates that? Like, what do we need to drop a new constitution or something like that? If this is intended to keep going for a while, it's gonna be weird because they're gonna have to write up a whole constitution in there and a whole book of laws, and who knows how long it's even gonna last. But there's gonna start being some problems like that. But dog eat dog type of you stole my chocolate or my cheese sort of stuff going on.
Straight up. Yeah, that's definitely happening. That's also the conversation I'm trying to inspire. There needs to definitely be structure, as everyone is saying on the outside, and nor am I saying it has to be me, but if we're going to do this experiment, let's give some real order to it.
What do you think about the rapper Ras Simone kind of taking control as a would be sort of warlord or leader? What do you think of his approach?
From what I know about his approach is only honestly what I've read online. I haven't spoken to him yet. I've seen him once, one of the days I grabbed the microphone, but we didn't get to speak yet. And I was kind of hoping he showed up today when we brought the giant American flags, but maybe he was busy. From what I have seen online, he could use some assistance in making his case clear. So if you know anyone, send the invite. And
it's really interesting because he seems like he has good intentions. He does. He seems like he really wants to go in there and help, but maybe he's running into some of these problems that a new society would run into, where it's like, how exactly do we do this where people are going to be okay with it? How do I make people safe without coming off like a bully or like somebody that's trying to cost people? And I can almost see the frustration on his face and on some of his friends' faces that they're trying to do a good thing. It's like, how do we keep the crowd from getting mad at us throughout all this?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I see that too, man. And that's what I'm saying. Like, try not to badmouth anyone.
Sure, yeah. And that's not my intention either, but
I'm ready to have that conversation with him too.
How long do you see it lasting? Do you see the Chaz going until next year, until 2021?
If some things can be adjusted, like declaring a purpose for it, and extending that purpose to people who would be great to contribute and people who could definitely benefit off of it. Like, as I said, the general idea is great, just giving a place for people who don't fit into the general structure of the normal society we have, or almost the old normal now. We're going to get into that conversation. Yeah, like I want to see where it can go, but a lot of things need to be adjusted. And so I don't want to put a stamp on it. I don't want to hope it fails. I hope it succeeds, but just for the right reasons.
It sounds like you have been interacting a little bit with the Proud Boys. I think it's really interesting and unique that you're able to, kind of be with the BLM protesters and then step over to the Proud Boys side and kind of vibe with them. That's not a trait that many people out there are gonna have. You seem to be tactful in your way of doing things, which is probably a good thing because you are able to kind of approach multiple sides and even the police, and you even come on this show and have something to say without being too, it sounds like you're not, what I'm trying to say, it sounds like you're not overly aligned with one or the other, although you made it clear that the reason you're out there is because Black Lives Matter.
Right. Yes, like I support everyone. And that is the only reason you could say I'm being aggressive now. That is what I have to contribute. I see the middle ground, and it does exist. People just need to take the time, take a breath, and think a little bit more, and we can all get there together. In a nutshell, it's that simple.
Yeah, it's like, remember, like this term walking the fence? Oh, don't be a fence walker. Like, what?
That's
like,
a throwback.
What's wrong with that shit? Why can't I walk the fence?
Seriously,
what's wrong with me? What's wrong with me being in the middle?
Here I am.
I think being in the middle is good because really the people that are on the extremes are the people that are a little bit more like the people I wouldn't trust with my kids. The people that are in the middle, I think of as sane.
Yeah, it's like, you take each individual law or each individual whatever.
Live and let live, in a nutshell.
Yeah.
And again, I'm not trying to take sides, but this is a very pivotal point because before Trump actually sends the guard or anyone in, like, let's prove that there were people out there unbiased and not taking sides, just trying to bring peace to everybody. And that's all I'm doing.
And that's something else I wanted to ask you about. There's a lot of talk about there possibly being some sort of invasion, some sort of shutdown of the Chaz. Do you see that happening? And what would be the consequences of something like that happening?
Yeah, great question. Being an East Coaster, I wouldn't. Donald Trump is not wrong for wanting to fix it quickly, and I think it'll get sticky where the mayor and Governor Inslee are objecting to his involvement. But yeah, it's just not trying to get sucked into either side while that's happening. As far as consequences, I don't know how stubborn the people who hold the Chaz will be, and I just hope they don't think it'll be worth resisting the National Guard or even Secret Service coming in to clear it out. Like, just count your losses. We'll build it the right way somewhere else, maybe.
With like news or reports or like tweets or whatever of people claiming to be Black Lives Matter people, typically white people too, like saying, oh, they'll write Black Lives Matter on a thing, or like this store's owned by a black person during the looting or the rioting, claiming to be from Black Lives Matter and stuff like that. And like the little bit the chaos within the organization, or not the organization, but the movement, I guess we could say. Do you think that it's infiltration, or do you think that it's from within? And I know that's kind of a kind of an ambiguous question to answer, right? Because it's not really an organization.
Yeah.
However, yeah. But maybe kind of, okay, in other words, yeah, I don't really know. So I'm just curious your thoughts on that, at least.
Both. People do have good intentions, and there are some people out there who genuinely want justice.
So basically, what your general message is, which is kind of my whole notion about this whole thing as well, which is kind of like, if you want to protest,
make sure you're following the right person.
Just if you want to protest. Just make sure you're not being a dickhead about it.
Max,
in a nutshell, exactly.
Max, forced.
I didn't mean to boil it down to just that.
Nah, man, it's perfect. We like simple.
What do you think of the possibility that we could end up having to be forcefully vaccinated in the future? Would you see that as a violation of our personal freedom?
Fuck that. With all due love and respect. That is one of the things that I stress about. The world is united. Everyone came together, like the country, everywhere for BLM. But let's really capitalize on that. What can we also address? Forced vaccinations just sounds dangerous.
That's so. I mean, like, you're gonna fuck. There's no way, dude.
Yeah.
There's no way.
I don't like being forced to do anything. That's how I am. I'm not against vaccines.
There for those who need it, for sure.
If somebody
I haven't gotten sick yet, and that is definitely something that needs to be addressed because COVID is being shouted out again. But what about all the protesters, and what about the conversation about the alleged padded numbers before the protest started? So, yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh man, the numbers are all. Man, like, I haven't gotten a flu shot my whole life, and I rarely get sick.
Yeah. It just feels weird how we're having the COVID crisis, and then all of a sudden it's like everybody's at home and getting frustrated, and we can't go anywhere, we can't do anything. It's like all of a sudden they ring the bell, recess, everybody come out here and protest and riot. Everybody's like, oh yeah,
protest, right?
Does it feel like that? Like,
yeah, and it's so weird.
They even did it in a way, they did it in the perfect way. They did it so that now it's not just the news telling you don't go out, it's your friends and your family. Oh, and your mother is old and your dad has a broken hip and you're going to give him the coronavirus and he's going to die.
But come out and protest.
Come on, man. Come on.
So weird. Give them their jobs back.
If COVID is real, people should be dropping dead left and right. What was that, Dave?
Oh, I was just saying that we started up. I was working from home for 3 weeks. We just started up last week. Today I went out to Chili's to pick up takeout, and if I would have known that it was open and people were just sitting down eating with no masks, having a beer and stuff, I would have gone in instead of ordering for takeout. But yeah, I mean, it's like everything's.
Well, after everybody started going out there, it's like now everybody's wondering, why isn't everybody just dropping on the ground and grabbing their heads and just lying there like the pictures we saw in Wuhan? Is there a virus? What do you think, Max?
What do you guys think about the these camps allegedly around Washington?
Oh, the FEMA camps.
Ooh. The quarantine camps.
Dude, the fucking fences, they curve in. They don't curve out. That means they're trying to keep people in, not allow people from going in.
That's got to be for this. I mean, the timing, like Alex Jones was talking about this, 10, 15 years ago for something in the future. This is it. This is the future. And they have those guillotines there too. And that's going to be some Marie Antoinette shit where they're going to be like, okay, who's next in line for the guillotine? Is it going to be a celebrity today? Cancel culture. Now we're canceling you with your head off. That's my theory anyway.
Tune in. Oh shit, Matt Damon's getting beheaded.
I'll buy tickets to that. It depends who it is. I mean,
but his last words are some shitty Boston phrase, like. Give me the vagina or some shit. I
don't know. And then his head starts rolling down the hill. Oh,
his head just rolls.
Who's next? Ben Affleck.
Hey, what about Ted Williams? Hey, Ted Williams froze his head because he's hoping, Ted Williams wants to freeze his head because he's hoping that 10,000 years from now they could, hey man, they're not gonna find a cure for no body, dude. All right.
It's very sticky.
You're still not gonna have a body, all right?
Yeah. But we're laughing about it, but it is scary because these things are happening so fast that as soon as I start to relax, something else is going on. Like, what's it going to be next? Aliens?
Right? I'm losing sleep.
Yeah.
You can feel it. You can feel it. It's like I said,
relentless.
It's a spiritual warfare.
And
ooh, you said spiritual warfare. You fucking gave Daniel a boner right now.
Drop the bomb.
No, I'm right there.
He's so excited, dude. He's about to quote fucking.
I'm about to quote the whole Bible.
Drop all the spiritual knowledge on you right now.
Yo, that's what it is, man. It's like it's what brought me out. Like, I wish I could look the other way. I don't ignore it.
So let's get to the real hard-hitting questions.
Do you believe in revelations? Do you believe in revelations?
I am not religious, but I do believe that there is a point where just some things need to happen.
How about China? What are your thoughts on China? Is there a movement for us to become like China, where almost every aspect of our lives are controlled in some way? What do you think about like a social credit system?
That is why everyone needs to get all hands on deck right now, because not even that I'm not with the social credit system. There's something to take from that to mix with the barter system to make maybe a perfect system. What do you think of the social credit system?
I'm starting to call our country China West, because it literally is becoming just like China here. We're going to have a war. It's going to be China West versus China East. China versus China. And guess who's going to win? China.
Yeah. For years, we thought the Russians were the enemy, but we all know now that was just a big diversion because we're secretly in cahoots with China. We have Islamic infiltrated people. They're not Islamic. They parade or they couldn't infiltrate the Jewish religion anymore and walk around as Jews. So now what do? They just fucking walk around as Islamicists, radical Islamicists. And like, they're not that, but they have the funding and the backing and the whatever of all that because they're, they sacrifice babies.
Sounds like Antifa.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what to think anymore, man. Like, so much knowledge.
There you go.
The plan is working, and the more you torture the numbers, they'll tell you anything, and that's the problem now. Like, the more you look, the more. I mean, it's a cliche. The more you know, the more you realize you don't know, and it's a rabbit hole.
Everyone's
never ends.
We're all standing at the same intersection now, though. So
yeah. It's not a rabbit pit.
Come together.
What I think is happening is I think that, like, as far as conspiracies go and control, I think that it's coming out as in there's an unveiling going on, and whoever is behind the curtain can't keep the curtain shut forever. And because the curtain's opening, they have to tell us what's behind the curtain now, so we're not totally shocked when the curtain gets totally open.
Right, which, like, you gotta microdose the red pills in the beginning. That's what's happening, I feel like, too. So also trying to figure out my place, but sooner we get answers, the better. Now,
there is a movement you're involved in, and my understanding is that you are advocating a group that can perform some of the duties of the police force, but you are also very aware of the fact that this could be a slippery slope towards a a more militaristic society, or even a martial law, maybe some sort of technology thing. You're very aware of that. Could you tell us how this idea came about, or how you got involved in it?
Right. So also why I want to bring eyes to Chaz is before Trump sends his people over here, like before he has a reason to come and bring the hammer down, let's show him that we can hopefully get it done without him, peacefully. This organization hopefully will be a mediation, sort of quote unquote policing the police force, the people policing the police force, called Citizens Police Council. We'll start it in Seattle, and in conjunction with some of the things they already have in demand at Chaz, we just want to make sure it happens for real. So the people that we would recruit specifically would have military, law enforcement, or even some type of martial arts background, to be verified, of course, for
That's a really good idea.
Right, minimal infractions, but these guys also still have the experience to keep people safe without the label of being police. I think that's what needs to happen next, for people to feel comfortable. As I said, I'm not shying away from the fact that things need to be fixed, but here's a proposal on a next step that satisfies everyone.
You know, I'm thinking of England, because basically in England, this is my understanding of it, correct me if I'm wrong, but the police, they just have the batons, and this is so they don't scare the crap out of the populace. And if something really bad pops off, then the SWAT team or the police force that has the weapons will then finally arrive. And maybe that's kind of along the lines of what you guys are thinking, and maybe that's the only solution that's going to end up working in order to stop these knee-jerk sort of shootings.
Right, that'll work.
Yeah, why can't we have private security in the nation? What the heck?
We can, but we don't want too much of it, is the problem, as with anything. That's why police are essential.
Of course.
We can figure out something for the bad ones, like whether discipline would have to
or
be
like
fixed, but
I mean, it takes
training, give them new jobs if we have to, but there's
it takes 6 years. So I saw a tweet today. It takes 6 years to go to law school and all that stuff. I mean, to go all the way up and finish law school, pass the bar, and it takes or 8 years even maybe, and it takes how long do you have to go through police training for to enforce? It's like, come on, guys.
It's even less for the military, but
yeah, I mean, military is a little more.
Yeah, but
that's very structured. You know what I mean? It's almost too structured.
Yeah.
But it's very, so there's a sense of security and checks and balances in that.
That's what we need to address right now.
It's because every order comes with accountability in the military, and soldiers don't disobey orders; they only take orders. So there's always somebody held accountable for every outcome.
I think that that's a lot of people's concern, and another part of that is the idea that we might have mercenaries in our country, as in what are they called, Blackwater, or just some sort of foreign legion. I think that's possibly just as dangerous as the idea of this technology being introduced, because if there was a civil uprising, any potential military serviceman might decide to side with the people, or side with the left, or side with the uprising, instead of going after his own family and friends. That's why they need to introduce a foreign legion or foreign mercenaries. And when Trump had whoever ordered it had those people guarding was it the Lincoln Memorial? I feel like that was the start of that. It scared the shit out of me. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It's like these. Do you think that this idea might be perpetuated by maybe a military coup?
Yeah, but no, hasn't happened yet. I'm not going to stress about it.
You're hearing rumblings of it.
I'm starting to feel this. I'm starting to feel this like battle between the FBI and the CIA and the NSA. This battle between you're starting to see a battle between the Marines and Navy versus the Army and the thing. Like the military is starting to split up. The Pentagon is starting to split up. People are starting to. It's all starting to fall apart.
So that's why the people need to keep it together.
They're trying to pick sides. Everybody's trying to, and you can't jump ship to the other side anymore. So now what you've got to do is you have to you're trying to make sure whatever ship you're on doesn't sink. So everybody's pulling out all the stops. They're like, well, fuck. If we have to take over one state and make it our own state, then that's what we have to do.
Yeah.
Other states will follow. I mean, I don't know what to think about it.
Well,
it's just
everything
just seems so ingenuine these days.
What it is it's the reason why you're noticing that there's a separation of states or isolation of states is because we're headed into the election. Like all this stuff is popping off right before the election.
And it seems it seems much more drastic than it's ever been for me. Like it might be because I'm following him more, but especially the military stuff. Like what are your thoughts on like General Michael Flynn?
That's still going. I read. Damn.
Yeah, sorry. Go on. Sorry.
Like contradicting his tweets. I think he's being bullied.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah. He's an army general, right?
Mm.
I think he's an army general, and I think what's happening is the army is starting to.
Hold on a second. What did he do again? Because I'm trying to Google his name right now. I'm sorry. I should know this. I know. What did General Flynn do again?
General Flynn was the one who apparently lied about the Russian stuff under oath because people were threatening his son and stuff to put him in jail. Basically, what he doesn't say the Democrats, but I think he means the Democrats were threatening his son, gonna put him in jail for charge him with some stuff or whatever. And so he lied about I don't remember exactly what he lied about, but there was a hearing recently, but it still seems like he's gonna get dismissed and he'll inevitably be exonerated in July, hopefully. So, but he lied about something about the Russian investigation and how basically they set him up to go to Russia to meet with these people, the Democrats, like the Obama administration, basically set him up to do this so that they could take pictures and make it seem like later on that it was collusion.
That brings up an interesting idea because a lot of people they think that the only corruption and the only bad influence is coming from the left, like George Soros and Rothschild, Hillary Clinton, blah blah blah.
No.
I really think that it's coming from both sides. Like both sides are
exactly
two sides of the same coin. Would you guys agree with that?
Yep.
Oh yes.
We need to establish a people's side, and that's what this is all about.
Because it almost feels like they're
exactly
working hand in hand. Like first the right does something, and then the left does something, and the right does something, and then the left. And what happens is things just keep changing. Like whatever they're doing, it feels hand in hand. Like it's happening so fast that it feels like they're literally just working together and reading from a script.
Yeah, and like George Bush just came out and said that he won't endorse Donald Trump for this next election. And it's just like,
did he correct that
maybe,
though?
Huh?
I thought he corrected it. It was like he said he didn't say that.
Oh, he did? Okay, good.
No,
not good.
Yeah, that's what's the back and forth.
Yeah. Okay. But you just like you find dude, George Bush fucked up during 9/11. We all know that. And now we've seen a shift the other way. Now it's just Just like it's like whichever one is in power is the opposite one is made to like look like shit. Except this time, no, excuse me. Whichever one is in power.
No, I know what you're talking about. I can explain that. Basically, what's happening is they're building up resentment and pressure. So the left is in control for 4 to 8 years, and they're building up all this anger on the right. Or the right is in control for 4 to 8 years, and they're building up all this anger on the left. And then once that anger is released, then they can get the change and the laws put forward that conforms to whatever agenda that they're really trying to make happen.
Bro, being a witch or a Satanist or a warlock or a gay warlock, whatever the fuck kind of warlock.
A gay warlock? Where's this going? What are we getting into some Bohemian Grove?
No.
What's going on there?
Gay warlocks are cool now. Gay warlocks are cool now because of the show Sabrina, the chilling adventures of Sabrina the Teenage Witch. Don't you know?
Oh,
but
we got like gay vampires, gay warlocks. It's like all these. You can't be a supernatural creature and be straight. That just doesn't work that way anymore. If you want to be a werewolf, you got to be a gay
along
werewolf.
the line. You got to suck a dick one day. Exactly. No, but it's like they need. It's like a pressure washer. You know, you have to build up PSI, right, and then shoot it out so they can get all their energy, so that they, because their witchcraft doesn't work unless they got energy.
No,
right?
You're right. You're right.
Yeah.
But hey, Max, we did go a little bit over our agreed to time. I do apologize for that. I wasn't watching the clock, but I do want to give you one more chance to go ahead and just get up on the soapbox and just say to my audience out there, whatever you want to say, just please go ahead and just say whatever you would like to say to everybody out there that's listening. And then please follow that up with anything at all that you would like to plug or promote for yourself or anything that you're doing.
I would keep it simple. Most importantly, going forward, I would like for everyone reach out to whoever's in your network. Let's all find answers, truthful answers to what's going on. Today at the protest, as the American flag was almost ripped out of my hands, I asked for a council meeting with city council and the mayor, right, the governor too, but on behalf of the people. Send me your questions. Also, you have the power, we have the power, and the people should come together and start using that now. Number one, the power in our voices to start speaking for what we want. Of course, a lot of us want that, but a lot of us know what that is for us individually. But the things that we can capitalize on, people need to speak up on. Yeah, I'll see you soon.
Any Twitter or
awesome, man.
Any Facebook?
Oh yeah,
or
Twitter and Instagram. He who is Maximus, HEWHOIS, Maximus, like the gladiator. Got that nickname from competing, but for different reasons now.
That's my favorite movie, by the way. Are you not that
dude? That is like, yeah. As I was saying, like I'm simple. That movie can prove it. I'm just a farmer, just doing my job right now, getting people together, and yeah, power to the people.
Can you give that Twitter name one more time?
He who is Maximus.
All right.
So get on Twitter. I'll get right back to you guys.
All right. And will you be out there?
All right, man.
Back in the Chaz tomorrow? Are you going to be headed back out there tomorrow?
Big day of training tomorrow. I do teach martial arts, if you haven't heard yet. So if I get the time and organize it safely, because obviously I'm definitely not trying to get caught in the dangerous mix. Yeah, maybe I'll see you out there. Tweet me.
Right on. Okay, Maximus. I appreciate you coming on so much. Local Seattle boy, keeping it local. And I echo your statements. Power to the people. We will talk to you again, my friend.
We're just getting started. Yeah, see you guys soon. Thank you.
See you soon.
Later.
Peace. Okay, that was Maximus.
Alrighty.
Very interesting.
Seems like he's got a pretty good head on his shoulders.
Yeah.
Yeah. There is a little bit of control to what he's saying, which makes me think maybe, there's a little bit of like, oh, these are the type of things you should say about the organization, or these are the type of things that a little bit of leaflet reading maybe. But he seems like he's pretty solid. He can kind of. So.
Well,
good guy, smart guy.
As a host of End of Days Radio, I have to. I can't agree with that statement, but I'm not gonna disagree with it either, because I do think that he was being very careful. Part of that is because he could literally go back out on the streets tomorrow, and then Raz Simone could try to like literally crucify him in front of people or something. He's gonna be like, we know you went on that show. Like, we know what you said.
Yeah, I guess I'm not really understanding. I guess I'm not really being empathetic to the actual situation that was happening. And like, it's just, I didn't, like I said, I didn't even really hear about this stuff until yesterday. I've been hearing about it, but I didn't hear about how bad it actually is, or how aggressive and it is right now. So yeah, so understandable. You know what?
Yeah,
understandable.
Yeah, so, but that's your opinion, and you can say whatever you want. I have to be a little bit more like, stay on my
sure. And
side.
honestly, now that you mention that, we only talked to him for the last hour or so, but now I kind of agree with you.
Yeah. Now, I've had this problem. I've had a problem with fake people that say that they're one thing, but really they're spying on me. I've actually had that issue. So I've had people befriend me.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. This has been a problem for a while now. And
sorry, go on.
Well, it could put you in a state where you are just like, how do I explain it? Almost like once that doubt is introduced, you start thinking, oh, is my mom one of them? You know what I'm saying? Like almost everybody.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, and that was the topic of our first podcast that Terry and I did. You Have Died from Dave and Terry. Was about gang busting.
Is this based on Oregon Trail? This is Oregon Trail.
Yeah, Oregon Trail.
You have died of Dave and Terry. Gotcha.
Instead of dysentery.
I love that game. Yeah. There's no way I'm gonna miss that reference.
Yeah, you're right. And so
your fucking wagon wheel's broken.
Oh, my what is?
I said your wagon wheel is broken.
Oh yeah, I that was one of the. I mean, like that game was what got me into playing like SimCity and SimTower and all that stuff. But yeah, that was the topic of our first episode, was gang stalking, and Terry worked at Blizzard, and after even a little bit while she was there, and then after she got laid off, it definitely still kept going. But she thought like her boyfriend was like doing some shit on her computer in her BIOS one day, and then she started noticing level changes and differences on the TV picture, and like they're able to kind of control the picture, or they'd set up fake graphics that kind of looked like something, but they were controlling it, and it just kept getting worse and worse until she basically moved back in with her parents, like 2 hours away. It's crazy.
Stuff like that freaks me out, and part of the reason is because it's like,
I'm gonna be 1 second.
Well, I know it's true, but at the same time, I know that when you get into that sort of state, you almost feel like anybody is one of these people, or you hear something on the radio and you think it's this or that, when really it's something completely innocent. You can really go into that state, and I just never know how to judge those situations, because I do genuinely know that some people are mentally ill and they are creating this sort of perception inside of their own mind. But at the same time, as I know that that is true, I know that I have had gang stalking experiences. I have had experiences that nobody would believe. Nobody would believe that.
Yeah, I'm back.
Nobody would believe that I have electronic whistling in my head occasionally, like beeping, like zzz. Somebody,
Oh yeah, the humming. A lot of people actually experience that.
Yeah, they'll call it tinnitus.
Yeah, or tinnitus.
Tinnitus.
Tinnitus or tinnitus.
Tinnitus.
Yeah, but
you say tinnitus, I say tinnitus. I say it's aliens.
I say tomato, tomato. You say tomato, tomato.
I say it's a CIA.
No, you say potato. You say potato, potato. I say tomato, potato, or something. I heard that somewhere.
You say tomato. I say potato. Okay.
You say tomato. I say potato. Like,
you say tomato. I say potato. We're all fucked up.
Yeah, but like, yeah, that fucking. So people are starting to think that that's that has to do with some underground shit. Some like underground, like a result of like underground caves and things that they do in underground caves. I don't know though. I'm not really sure. And then like remember, and then after a while, people were hearing trumpets. The people that were having this same phenomenon of hearing it were also hearing trumpet noises, or like just a long trumpet sound, just like a sort of. Which is kind of the same thing, but a little more tuned, I guess, is the word to describe it.
I remember that.
I don't know.
I remember thinking, okay, that's the trumpets of the apocalypse. That's like angels.
The 5G's killing the carrier pigeons.
Well, angels will do this. They'll like actually like send you these subtle sort of hints about the future, and it could literally be like years before it even happens. And you're just walking along one day and you hear this music, or you see like a road sign, or you hear something on the radio. That's actually how they communicate, because they're 5D, so they can actually manipulate our reality a little bit around us.
Or imagine some of that shit like that, like when you're downloading information from them, you hear it that way, and if you don't have the brain capacity, you don't know the knowledge, I guess the word is, then like you don't have the correct codecs to show the video. To play the video. Remember back in the day when you would you download porn and it'd be in the wrong codecs, you know? You have to download.
No, you're right.
You'd have to download DivX. You'd have to download DivX, which was basically backwards for XVid, because they didn't want to make it. They made it's basically made for porn. The compression.
Yeah.
You know?
The whole internet was made for porn. I mean, why else would they make an internet? So you can sit there and
Have you been noticing how when people want to do shady shit like pedophilia or whatever the fuck, or child trafficking or satanic shit, all the time, whenever they find the computers in these places, they're always these old ass fucking computers. You ever notice that? It's like they won't have the port to, like that chance, like it just like everything. It's like they make it so hard for you to, just.
I think why they do that
on purpose almost.
I think why they do that is because if you actually have an old ass computer, it's harder to hack because it has different dynamics to it.
It's old school hacking.
Did you ever watch Mr. Robot?
No, my sister tells me to watch that.
Oh, you gotta watch that.
I hear it's really good, but
you gotta watch that. That
you know
show.
What it's a drama, right?
I mean, it's like a thriller.
It's like
a thriller drama.
Thriller?
Yeah, thriller drama.
I don't know what it is, dude. You know what it is, man? I watch so much comedy that like any drop of drama, which is good. Like I'll watch a commercial and just start crying. Like so if I watch some shit like that, it just gives me anxiety. I don't know what it is. I'm a sap.
Well, everybody's a little different. Like if you're not super into computers, Mr. Robot might not be your cup of tea. But hey, real quick.
Oh, I am.
Real quick,
yeah.
if anybody would like to call in and join us, that's 209-348-9810 or NinjaShoe777 on Skype. Once again, that's 209-348-9810, 209-348-9810 or NinjaShoe777 on Skype. I'm sorry, go ahead, Dave.
I didn't want to ask earlier because I thought it might be unprofessional, but what platform are we live on, buddy? Because it certainly ain't YouTube.
We're not live on YouTube.
You die right there.
We're not on YouTube.
No, man. I don't know. Sorry. I was gonna bring it up earlier, but I thought that was purposeful. Sorry.
No, you know what it is that we are on
I
YouTube.
See it now, actually.
But
shoot.
Yeah, what happened was I should make up some kind of crafty excuse, but I just forgot to hit play on YouTube. I hit everything else, but I noticed like a half hour and I had not hit play, and I freaked the fuck out. That's when I wasn't paying attention. Yeah, that's when you guys were like, "Hey Daniel, you still there?" I was like, "Oh fuck, I just forgot like the most important thing."
Yeah, because I was gonna tweet out the link and stuff because but then I didn't see it. So, but yeah, I'll do that now. So yeah, are you gonna have other people in right now too?
If anybody wants to call, they can call in. This is the first time I've done a show. Like, I'm new to Zoom still, so that's new. And then I spent a long time setting up this whole backdrop and then trying to connect with Maximus. It just totally threw me off. But the audio is intact, so if you feel like you missed that first half hour and you're dying to know what happened, just go and download the normal podcast and you'll have the full interview there. I do apologize. Won't happen again. It's just all these new things that I'm doing. I just got to get used to it. And we're already improving. Like, look, I got this fucking cool brick background. Dave's in fucking space. He believes in round Earth, so he's in front of a planet.
I was gonna be. Yeah, I'm subtly showing what side I'm on of that argument.
yeah, you actually revealed yourself to be a globe Earth shill. So
yeah, I believe in that ball. That's the only ball I believe in, and the one hanging from my sack. I mean, hanging in my sack. Sorry, I don't mean to be so grotesque. So ever since all this has been happening, I've been hanging out with all my comedian buddies on the Kill Tony Discord channel, and it's like it gets so raunchy and just the worst language in the world. For everybody to hear, and it's just like I have my filter has diminished.
You know, that's gonna have an effect on you. Hanging around all these comics, you're not gonna ever be serious. You're just gonna be like fucking jokes all the time. You're gonna be like me sometimes, where I can't even be serious if I try, and I just fucking annoy the shit out of like everybody around me because I'm like trying to be funny, like somebody just died.
Oh no, I mean, here's the thing, like it's true, but my whole life I've never been offended by anything, and like these are the group of people that are like-minded this way. It's just, you can't offend me, you know, and so it's actually quite, once I realized what this feeling was, the feeling of never being offended, then I was able to exhibit it in a way that is healthy.
You know, I was just thinking about this sort of topic yesterday. I was thinking about what happens to a lot of these people like Kevin Hart, because in the 90s, I feel like people were less racist than they are now, and you could kind of like joke about race without it being the end of the world. You know what I'm saying? Like Chris Rock and a lot of these stand-up comics, they could make jokes about really anything, and people understood that it was comedy. They understood that it's a safe space in the comedy world, but it's like they're taking that safe space away. Hello. Can you hear?
Hello.
Can you hear him, Dave?
Oh yes, sir.
Hello.
Todd, you there? Can you hear me?
Hi, Todd.
Can you hear me?
Can you hear me, Todd?
Yes, we can hear
hear
you.
you.
Yes.
How you doing, buddy?
I'm all right. I'm okay.
Oh,
Pretty good.
I'm pretty good. I mean, it's Saturday night.
What you got going on over there, Todd? You got got a little
Saturday
brewski
night.
or something? You sucking back any back there, Todd?
you having
I don't
some
know if Todd
beers?
can hear me.
Having some beers, buddy. It's good to hear you going.
Can you
Good
hear?
to hear you going.
Can you hear Dave when he talks, or are you just hearing me?
Oh, I was watching. No, I can't hear Dave.
Oh no. Shh.
Oh,
Okay.
here's you.
You know what? I'm looking at the stream right now too.
Did I call the wrong numbers?
I'm watching your YouTube stream,
Daniel?
and I'm realizing that you stretched me out. This is the only thing I've ever been offended at. You make my face look so fat. You have me stretched.
What?
That's not what my face really looks like.
Oh, sorry, Todd. Dave is talking, and I guess I didn't do something right because you can hear me, but you can't hear him.
Yeah. And then for a second, I didn't hear anything.
But Dave can hear you. You can hear him, Dave, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
He can hear me?
Yeah, he can hear you. Sorry about that. I'll have to figure this out. I don't know how to get everybody so they can hear each other.
Well, tell Dave he's got a cool background and what's going on or whatever then.
He hears you and he says, thank you very much. But what did you think of that guest just now, Todd? What did you think of that?
That interview that you guys just all had?
Yeah.
The interview you just have been doing?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I just asked you a question.
Yeah, that interview just now that you listened to.
What did I think about that?
What did you think about it, Todd?
It's interesting. Very interesting.
What do you think about the Chaz?
About Chaz?
What do you think about Chaz?
Frankly, I don't really know him that well.
You there, Todd? You with me, buddy?
I can hear you, but there's a lot of interference. I'm barely fading in and out and stuff.
Oh, shoot. Well,
you know what? Maybe when I talk, it fades out. So I'll just stay quiet for now, just so we don't have any more technical difficulties.
Well, heck, I'm going to have to figure this out. I'm going to have to figure out how to get Zoom and Skype to talk to each other. Are you there, Todd? Can you still hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
All right. Chaz is very interesting.
Yeah.
I don't. My opinion. Can I give my opinion on this?
Please do.
I don't think they could have pulled Chaz off unless they were given permission.
I agree.
To do it by the authorities.
I agree. How did they get it going so fast?
The what?
How did they get it going so fast?
Yeah. How is not only nationwide but worldwide protests organized over the death of the black guy, and now it's way beyond that, yeah. First it was how bad it was what they did to that black guy, Daniel. Now it's much bigger.
It is. It's worldwide. They're even over in London. They're beating each other up and.
Did you see the video where they poured flammable liquids on the Mexican police officer on the motorcycle and set him on fire?
I did see that. That was very unsettling to me.
So if that was real, that was spooky.
I actually don't hate police, at least not to that level. So when I see something like that, it just does not make any sense to me. Why would anybody want to light a police officer on fire? That's a heinous, hateful thing to do. And I sure as heck hope that sort of mentality doesn't keep spreading like wildfire, because it's bad enough already. And if we lose what little peace and tranquility and lawfulness that we have, I don't want to say law and order. That's going to make me look terrible, but I'm trying to find different ways to put it. But if we lose that,
yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah. No, go on.
Yeah.
If we lose law and order, any semblance of like law or order, any barrier, our society's relied on the police. Our system's set up to police, do the policing.
Yeah, exactly. And for us to just act like we can get rid of them after talking about it for 2 days is insane. It's not even close to the way that a civilized society would seek out to make a change of this nature. There should be like 50 steps taken over the period of 15 years, not 2 days later we're closing police precincts. That's
Well, Daniel, I told you, one of the things I noticed over the years is if it's something good for the people, it takes a really long time to happen. But if it's something that's good for the government or the military, police, industrial, prison system, it can happen overnight in a lightning bolt. Our system changes. You wake up the next day, you're like, holy shit, we're all under lockdown because of the virus.
What do you think this is, Todd?
Do
you think this is all like George Soros and the left, or is it the Illuminati, or who's behind all of this?
Yeah, these guys, they've been working on this.
Oh, we lost you. All right, well, that's that. We lost our buddy Todd, and he doesn't seem to be coming back, so let's go ahead and get Dave back. I am really gonna have to figure that whole thing out with the sound, because that's a bummer. Oh, there he is again. Hello?
Hello.
Hey Todd, we're still having those same technical issues, so I'm gonna let you go for now, buddy.
Yeah, well, I'll listen to the show, and if you want anybody to call in later, holler.
Will do. I appreciate you calling in, and I'll get these issues figured out.
I appreciate you putting on a show. Yeah, if you want anybody to call in, let us know. We'll be listening.
Yeah, keep calling in, everybody. I'm just keeping them short because Dave can't hear, so I will figure it out though. So I'll talk to you later, Todd. I appreciate it, buddy.
We're listening. Yeah, right on.
Peace. And that was Todd.
Yeah.
Bod.
Well, I could hear Todd. I just can't hear. He can't hear me. But yeah.
Yeah, he can't hear.
But it does seem like it. He said that there was interference, cutting in and out. So maybe every time I talk, something's going through, but just the audio's not working for whatever reason. So maybe it's just.
Yeah, you know what it is.
Some tweaking.
What it is I can do the same thing on Skype. I'm just trying to create a situation where like a bunch of us can be on the screen having a meeting together. I thought that was pretty kick-ass there with Maximus. So if we can get our callers in on a webcam and Zoom, then it would be pretty kick-ass. So I'll just have to try to get this to work, and if I have to, maybe split the show into like a Zoom section and a Skype section just to make things work, but we'll figure that out offline. Once again, if you wanted to call in, that's 209-348-9810. We still have quite a bit to talk about. There's so much going on in the world right now. I did want to talk a little bit more about Donald Trump. Dave, what did you think of clearing out the protesters?
Yeah, I mean, there was initial reports that they're saying that they tear gassed them, and I don't think that to be true. I think they use smoke canisters. What do I think about it? I think that I I don't really, like I said, I don't really know what the situation was over there. Was it getting rowdy? Did he want what was the story? What was the story that the media portrayed? That he basically attacked protesters, peaceful protesters, right?
Yeah, I mean, I was keeping a real close eye on what was going on. I was watching it all play out. So I use Twitter. I have a trick that I do. It's not a trick. There's probably a million people that do it. But, you go to Twitter and then you go to the little magnifying glass and you go up to trending and you just sit behind your computer. I like to use a computer so I feel like I'm like an evil villain sitting in his underground base and watching what's going on in the world. And I'll just watch all the drama play out as the riots are going on. And I was watching the whole thing with the press conference. I was watching the riots in DC when they started lighting all those fires. I was like, fuck, dude, is this really reality? And they're lighting all these fires. And
I mean, it got crazy in DC. Let's not forget that.
Yeah. And they actually lit the church on fire. I mean, I can see both sides. Really, I can.
It's so fucked up.
When Trump did that, though, I was pissed. I was like, this is fucking martial law. Trump's turning on us. He's holding up the Bible. He's telling us that things are getting biblical. We have just entered the fucking end game of the Bible.
Well, that's a clue. That's a cue thing, too. It's getting biblical. It's going to be biblical, Yeah.
So,
but yeah,
I sort of knew that this was going to happen. Like, I knew that at some point in the future, the president of the United States would declare martial law. That's part of the prophecy that's supposed to happen. I mean, it's not like some secret information or anything. It's just you take what's in Revelations and you apply it to modern times and you just try to figure out what would happen. And
what about this whole how the like the Mayan 2012, how they thought, but if you go by the other calendar, it's actually next week. Did you hear about that? The whole 2012 prophecy or whatever. They're like, oh, that's not that's if you go by the Gregorian calendar, but you should go by this calendar because for whatever reason, it's more accurate pertaining to I don't know what. But yeah, I don't know. I read that article. It's pretty interesting.
The thing about the Mayans is that they had everything mapped out. So basically, the end of the calendar means that this is just how far we made the calendar up till this point. And
yeah, I get that.
Yeah, really, the end of their calendar marks the end of an age. So it's exactly like, I believe it's the ancient Indian belief system that, or the current one too, says that we're leaving the Kali Yuga. I hope I have that right. I apologize if I'm getting that wrong, but
yeah, the Kalaluga.
Yeah.
Kalaluga.
I think that would be the best way. So. That would be the best way I could answer your question. Is it's more like an end of an age rather than the world exploding.
Commencement.
Yes. But the thing is, in that world, the Mayans were peaceful, but the Aztecs were sacrificing a lot of people. So we got to ask ourselves, what happened to the Mayans, first of all, and why did the Aztecs come along and start eating so many organs and hearts and, playing these soccer games where if you lose, you get sacrificed and fed to demons? Why?
Yeah, I mean, have you, there's the whole, obviously, so let's see, Cortez, Pizarro, these are all people who came. Pizarro conquered the Incas later on. This all started with
Colombo, Christopher Colombo,
Colombo, yeah,
Christopher
Cortez
Colombo
and everything.
Cortez.
So
Cortez was like the worst one.
Pizarro.
That's like the only one I know is Cortez, and he came in and he just he was not.
He said
peaceful.
He set his ships on fire apparently because they said that it was, and he told his troops they did it because it had some kind of termite or insect or some bullshit. So set all the boats on fire so nobody can leave.
That is gangster. Holy shit.
Yeah, and like and it's funny because maybe we know that, okay, there was copper and gold mining and all that stuff, and they say that's why they really came. But we have suspicions that the Mayans, the Incas, the Aztecs, they all sort of had this possible, interterrestrial, extraterrestrial, however you want to look at it, or alien possible interference, or maybe they even made some of their structures. But like, for example, the Incas, right? Like, if you notice, like Machu Picchu is like built on top of like the base of them is very advanced and very old but advanced, and then the structures that's placed on top of those structures are more recent, but they're less advanced for some reason, which gives you a weird which gives you the perspective that maybe they had some kind of outside influence. So maybe the Spanish went there because they had ancient knowledge, or maybe the same reason why we went to war with Iraq, to ransack the museums and take the Infinity Stones.
No, you're 100% right about that. In fact, that's boy, geez, where do I even start? So you're correct. The Mayans, they built some really cool shit. Like, their carvings and their temples are way more advanced than the stuff that came later. The original Mayan stonework, when you look at it, you feel like you're tripping on mushrooms. That's how elaborate and cool looking it is.
And the serpent, like this whole eagle versus serpent thing, and the eagle is a symbol of freedom and a symbol of thing, but really it's a symbol of like the all-seeing eye, and because it has a very high view. So it's like a symbol of surveillance or like the heavy-handedness, or like basically having a hand in everything, seeing everything. And the serpent is like, I know we talked a little bit about this. The serpent is like it's demonized, but like, serpents are very have their roots in the medical field, because snakes pollinate herbs, just like bees pollinate flowers. Snakes pollinate herbs because the pollen gets on their stomachs, and they slither around and they pollinate all the herbs nearby. So, and like, at one point we had this like revolution of like hating the snakes and the reptile people. I don't know, but hating the snakes, and it's like, but I don't know. Yeah,
I totally know what you're talking about. There's a weird sort of thing that we see in religion and also just culture, where the snake is this terrible creature that represents evil. How dare they bite their prey and inject them with venom, etc., etc. But you know that Caduceus that has the two snakes wrapped around each other? That's all you need to see, because those two snakes themselves represent good and evil. And that they are always opposing forces, and that a snake can either be like a slithering evil villain, and it can also represent the wisdom and your kundalini, because it snakes up your body through your chakra,
right,
up to your crown chakra,
right,
up into your receding hairline. It looks like devil horns. That's the next step after enlightenment, is to become devilish. You go backward. You start going backwards. Like you become enlightened, and then it just like loops all the way the fuck around, and you become evil again.
It's exactly. It's all a circle.
It's all a circle.
It depends on if you're. Depends on if your perception of time is linear or circular.
Exactly. So there's these things called the Emerald Tablets, where it's supposedly they're written by Thoth, and he says at the beginning, he's like, "Yeah, I died. and I died and came back so many times. I went from light to dark to light to dark. He's basically saying he's been good and evil more times than he can even remember. He's been both.
That's a beautiful metaphor of he who wins writes the history, you know, his story.
His
So
story.
It's like, yeah, like it's like my perception, like it's like he could be literal. Maybe he's being literal, but maybe it's like, yeah, you know, throughout my whole life, I've been perceived as good by some and perceived as bad by others. And it's like, you're always going to be that way.
Yeah.
Man, you know what I realized? Yeah, dude, the Conan story, the actual like story and lore behind Conan, it's fucking very like Temple of Set, Eye of Set, fucking, you know, Thoth-Amon, and is a lizard person. He's a fucking reptile in the game, at least. And like it's fucking like even dating back to the original game that I played in like 1991, I was just like, it's a lot of cool, a lot of like you go back and look at it now, and it's like, damn, a lot of this shit is like, it's pretty. I don't want to say. I mean, it's hard to say accurate, but it's, you know, but it's pretty accurate to the story.
Yeah, you're right about that. Conan, if you look at what sort of terms are in there, you've got Hyperborea. You've got Sumerians, which are real.
Hyboria, yes.
You've got
but they spell Samaria with the C.
Actually, there is a Samaria that would be like Russian. So there were Sumerians. It's
Sumerian.
Just, yeah, it's really little known. Also, the Aquilonians and the Azure are the Redbeard people, I believe. And I'm trying to show off my Conan knowledge here. I want to show how hardcore Conan I am. Snake temples, spider temples, saving the chick in the thong from the gorilla or spider monster seems to be the general idea. He's always having to steal some kind of jewel, stuff like that.
Yeah, like I played the game, so it's from 1991. It's a DOS game, and I have a run through of the whole game on YouTube. It's like 3 hours or more or whatever, and it's like so I remember there's a so the game is like a third person view, like an RPG, but old school, I'm saying. And then when you go to a house or engage with somebody, it goes to 2D view, like Street Fighter, and you just kind of like fight them like this. And there's a scene.
Why are you playing DOS games in 2020? What the fuck are you doing, dude?
Because,
you got some strange interests.
It's nostalgic. It reminds me of my childhood. Like, it took me like 8 to 9 months to beat this game the first time.
I'm waiting for PS5, and I'm watching videos every day. Dave's right? Fucking on DOS games. He's playing that karate game and the fucking Oregon Trail and some kind of Conan game I never heard of. Trail.
I know. And so the fucking game. Okay, so when you're in that 2D mode, you can't save the game, you can't restore the game, you can't quit the game. So there's a part of the game where if you don't have a rope and you fall into a hole, you literally have to restart your computer. And because there was no Control-Alt-Delete back then. And so you'd have to restart computer, and it could potentially crash it. So Conan wasn't a good seller because it was fucking crashing computers left and right.
Holy shit. That's a design flaw. That could affect yourself.
Total design flaw. Total design flaw.
That's like, I don't know if it was you I was talking about it with, but the E.T. games that were like so messed up, they buried 50 billion of them in the desert somewhere, and somebody discovered them, all these old Atari E.T. games, because it sucks so bad that somebody ordered to just like bury them in the desert, and they're out there along with the Sandoz Blue LSD and all the other fucking urban legend shit that's supposedly buried out there.
Oh, I thought you meant wait. So they literally buried a shit ton of cartridges?
Yes, they literally buried a shit ton of Atari cartridges just because the game wasn't selling, so they had a million of these.
Okay. and so you can't throw it away or have them crushed because it's bad publicity. Is that why?
I think there was just too many of them. Away. Like, what do you do with all the dust that's left over? It's easier just to stick them in the desert.
Wow, that's so fucking. That's so. I can't believe that shit.
Well, that's what I love about YouTube.
That's
because
hilarious. Imagine, yeah.
Well, you find out stuff that you never would have known. Like, how would I know all this weird stuff that happened with Activision or the Intel chips, or the Pentium chips? They were lying about how powerful they were.
Wait. Yeah. I mean,
you heard about that, right?
Also, too, what they do, obviously, it's like they have a series of chips, and that chip can, it has the ability of like a range of like 2 to 3 gigahertz, let's say. But they, they decide how much it has, and so like this one's 2.1 gigs this year, and then next year's 2.2 gigs, and then next year's 2.3, and then they're able to charge you the same amount of money every couple years or every year for the same exact item, and then just put a different stamp on it and like increase its fucking power by like 1 node or whatever the fuck they do. I don't even know how it works.
Yeah,
I'm like an idiot.
But the thing is that they weren't even having any increases. They were just the same exact thing, and they were saying that it performed faster. Yeah, and now we see. I
totally believe that.
We still see it like with phones. They hold stuff back, and they just make it like a little bit better each time. Meanwhile, if they actually used all the technology they have, they would just come out with the iPhone 30 right now. But they want to make money.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But then, you can't justify selling the same exact phone that's been out for 3 years for $1,000. So you have to be able to get that price point.
But Dave,
so man, it's all crony capitalism.
Yes, I did want to talk to you about something that is very relevant to what's going on in the world. I want to know your thoughts, because we talked to Maximus, and everybody knows how I feel. I just feel nothing. I'm numb. But I want to know how you feel about racial division and racism and hatred and manipulation and, white cops killing black people and black people, getting angry and attacking the cops or attacking white people occasionally. I want to know what you think about this sort of racial division, and why aren't the Asians getting enough attention? What's going on here?
Why aren't the Asians getting? Man, I'll keep it brief, but in a nutshell, I just everything seems disingenuous, politically driven. There's 2 sides. There's 2 sides. I should say there's more than 2 sides. I mean, it started. Okay. Let me start again.
You're Armenian, right?
Yes.
Has anybody ever been racist towards you? Have you experienced racism?
Oh, sure. I've been called the sand N-word plenty of times. Camel jockey, Dune coon. Even though Armenia is Christian, but because it borders all Muslim countries, everybody assumes that they're Christian. So, I mean, and there's no desert in Armenia either, but they just assume because I'm a big-nosed white person that I must be a camel jockey. But there's the 2 sides we have there's at least 2 sides, who knows, maybe 3. And they I don't even know how to explain. Everything is just so contrived. There's nothing, no organic. There's no the sentiment is just fake. Everything is fake, deep state. Like what? Like,
let me ask you this. Let me ask you this real quick.
Yeah.
Would you say, because this is my perception, I feel like, and I started to talk about this earlier, but back in the 90s, I feel like it was almost, I'm talking 30 years ago, I feel like it was less racially divided and weird than it is now. I don't feel like we've progressed one step as far as racism goes. I feel like it's maybe a little worse.
I honestly don't believe that though. Like, I honestly don't think the racism is, I don't see it anymore. When I, like, growing up when I was younger, I would get called these things, or like online, I would get called these things, but like, not really like to my face. And like, I've never really seen, I've honestly only seen one or two acts of clear racism. You know what I mean? And like, yeah, I don't really see, I think it's all politically or agenda driven.
But I swear, like, even like what we used to do, like, I feel like we all used to be able to joke about each other's races and not have any hard feelings because of it. I swear, like, we could like call each other nasty names and not really feel like the other person is being evil or racist or biased. I feel like people were more comfortable just talking about the elephant in the room without it becoming personal and hateful.
It's okay to have provocative conversations about race and stuff like that. It's joke, like, it's because you're being told what to get mad at, and it's just TikTok and it's Instagram and it's, dude, social media is, it's all agenda driven. I mean, I don't really know what to say other than that. Like, I hate the disingenuousness the country has come to. And
I think that social media does have a part of that, because before you couldn't start a hashtag. Like, if they wanted to, they could say cancel Daniel, and everybody in the country wants to cancel me. So we know millions and millions of people hate Daniel. So what's Twitter going to do? They're going to deplatform Daniel. YouTube's going to deplatform Daniel, and Daniel loses everything, and he's sent into the trash bin of life because he said one wrong thing.
Oh yeah, I mean, look at I don't know if you heard the whole Shane Gillis thing with Saturday Night Live. He's the comedian who said some things about Asian people on a podcast sometime, and they canceled Shane Gillis. They didn't allow him to. They paid him for a 1-year salary, but he never got the job to be on SNL.
And he's not the only one.
Something he said on a podcast.
Yeah, there's a long list of names, especially in comedy.
Oh yeah,
I think this is relevant to what you're doing, because
yeah.
How do you get into stand-up comedy when you can't be like they were in the 90s? When you can't be like Roseanne Barr? You look what happened to her.
It's an attack on free speech, is what it is. It's a subliminal attack on free speech, and then the internet it's going to continue with the internet, and it's already continuing with the internet. And some people in the movement, in the truther movement, they're starting to gang together. They want to buy MySpace for it's like $4 million. I think you could buy a MySpace.
Should be $4.
All your what?
It should be $4. I wouldn't even want MySpace. What would I do with it? Like, that's so passe.
You get MySpace, and you buy MySpace. All the conspiracy theorists go there. They put all their shit on there, and this way it's all localized. I mean, not that it has to be localized. It's good that it's separating now too. Like, you're seeing everybody upload their videos to different places so that they don't get censored, and so they're saying, let's buy MySpace and put all our shit there. Do you know why? That's why that's one of the reasons why MySpace basically fell apart, because the CIA went to Tom and said, I want to buy your shit and use it as a surveillance tool. And he said no. And so they're like, all right, fuck it. We'll just take this thing that we had and we'll give it to somebody else and make Facebook, which is what they did. It's all a farce.
No, I totally agree. I'm right there with you, because, as you know...
Do you think that there's Sorry, go on.
Well, I ran an online community for over a decade, and it was heartbreaking for me when things kind of just fell apart. But it wasn't... I was blaming myself for the longest time, but then I actually started searching around the internet, and all the message boards and all the communities turned into fucking ghost towns and skeleton ships because of MySpace to Facebook to Twitter to Instagram to Snapchat to TikTok. Now you're considered like an old fogey if you just get on Facebook and you don't do Twitter and all the other stuff. Now it's like even Facebook has become old. So what chance does any of these little communities have that just have 5 people? Nobody wants to talk to 5 people. They want to go where everybody is and all the celebrities that are at. You can just pull your phone out and you can have instant access to everybody. You can't compete with that. That's why they are able to control everything we say, because they got us all on the same platforms. And now the social engineering is so fucking crazy that we're literally surrounded by lies. I'm so tired of all the lies. It's a literal fucking Truman Show 24/7.
And really, the only forum that should have ever been shut down was SureDog.
Yeah, a lot of people aren't going to know what we're talking about, but SureDog was run by a guy named Jeff Sherwood, who we all sort of knew, and at some point he sold that community, and after that they just loaded it full of tons of spyware, and now hardly anybody goes on there anymore. It's just this big bloated mess, and it's like even SureDog has just 1/10 of the people on there. And it's sad because there's no more freedom of speech, whether it's SureDog or some of these forums and communities like that people actually still go on, like 8chan or 4chan and stuff like that. They just can't compete. And because of that, they are able to control every aspect of our thought process and decide what's trending, decide what's okay, and decide who comes, who goes, who gets to sit at the table, and who has to go and crawl across the fucking desert to get on Gab or BitChute. Are you on Gab? Are you on Gab yet?
For 40 days and 40 nights.
Are you on the alternate stuff? Are you on BitChute and Gab and
I'm on like Float. That's really the only, and I'm on Twitch at THE the Exhale, THEXHALE. That's where we do You Have Died from Dave and Terry.
So you're broadcasting through Twitch then?
Sorry, I'm broadcasting for what?
Are you broadcasting through Twitch then?
I have been, just because everything's already set up. I have I have a few hundred followers. They're pretty loyal friends and followers and fans. I used to stream video games. Now I mostly just stream like this kind of stuff, like just general talk, chatting, and commentaries and stuff like that. Like, the forum thing, I think we're seeing a big movement back to that. Guys like Sam Tripoli has his website Broken Simulation, gets about 1 million hits a day, and anybody within the the conspiracy theory or fact checkers movement is like welcome to upload their stuff there, and it just comes up like a feed every day, just videos that have been uploaded, and it works pretty well. And I think we're going to start seeing a big move back to decentralization.
Yeah, I hope you're right. I don't really agree, just because of just kind of watching things play out. I think like some people like Sam Tripoli or Owen Benjamin, they can get a huge turnout to like show up on their website, but if you don't have an established name, it's just not going to happen. And I guarantee you that
100. I agree. Yeah, you got to be famous. I mean, you know what I mean? It's now, especially, everything is so suppressed. Keywords, you got to be vague with what things that you say, and like kind of hope that they get, yeah. Todd says, have 10 people in the chat, 7 fans, 3 agents.
Or 10 agents.
The AOCs, the agents of chaos.
The AOCs? You mean our future president, AOC?
Dude, somebody brought up, I think it was this reporter, I forget her name, but she brings up the fact, is like, okay, remember the Jeopardy winner, the big Jeopardy winner?
Yeah.
Like, remember when he was winning, there was like, so she points out that like before the Jeopardy winner, all that stuff was going on, AOC was just like a waitress and blah blah blah. And then he started, his whole thing came out that he was like a bartender who made like craft drinks and craft cocktails. And then the publicist basically switched that around and stole this whole guy's story and just changed it a little bit and said that's what AOC, she was a craft cocktail bartender and blah. It's just,
so
it's just
her background is fake. Then it sounds like
well,
it's
well,
like it's a.
Dude, her name is for years. For years, she went as her name was Sandy Cortez or something.
Well, Lana
and
Del Rey. Lana Del Rey.
They changed her name.
You know her, Lana Del Rey?
Yeah.
It's like the same, like what you're talking about, where they concocted like a past story for her, but that's just a character. There's no Lana Del Rey who is this like wild sort of prostitute or stripper or whatever. That's an identity that they concocted for her, just like you're describing about AOC.
Yeah, like the Lady Gaga too. All of a sudden, she's hanging out with Ibrahimovic, or not Ibrahimovic. Is that her name?
Maria Abramovich. I can't pronounce that fucking bitch's name.
And
evil dark witch, whatever the hell she is.
I know, dude. She's such, dude. This like, so
trying to eat people.
You know that pose of the spirit cooking. You know when like it looks like the body's like bent backwards and everything like that. You know what I mean? Like it's hard to explain.
I think I know what you're talking about.
You know how they used to do. You know how they used to do that. They would make a cross with hinges on them, and fucking put you on the cross and bend you backwards into a cube. So the whole black cube of Saturn thing. I don't know.
Fuck
dude.
that. I hate that. Like
crazy, bro.
What you know what I noticed about these people, Dave? Like I've just learned this the past few months is these people that are doing this are nothing like us. They have something in them that is so extremely evil and dark and psychotic. We can't relate as normal human beings with morals and ethics and a conscience. We cannot relate to them at all. We cannot figure out what level of sadism and empty fucking emotions that we're dealing with. Like we can't relate to that at all. We can't relate to that level of sadism and wanting to fucking eat people or do shit to kids and stuff like that. What is it? Are they possessed by demons? Is that what it is? How could they be so evil?
I was thinking about this today too. It's like maybe this whole pedophilia thing is even what's the word that I'm looking for? Like falsely represented. Maybe they're not even doing like the pedophilia trafficking and the sex trafficking is just like a way for them to get bodies so that they can just do sacrifices. And it's basically nobody's really diddling these kids. They're just fucking killing them, dude. Putting them on the altar and slaughtering them. And I don't even know which one's worse.
Yeah, that's a possibility. I mean, what's actually happening to the kids, whether they're being diddled or slaughtered, it really sucks for them and for everybody that has to even be aware of it. But I do think that I do think it does serve a purpose. I do believe you're right about that. You heard the other day that I think his name's David Rockefeller. He just got a fourth heart transplant. I can't help but feel it's related in some way because I know that even it's even being talked about for normal people, like stem cells. Like let's take the fetal tissue. This guy LeBron James, I believe it is, he's injecting himself with the basketball player. He's injecting himself with actual human stem cells.
Oh, that LeBron James? Oh, okay.
Yes, he's
I want to make sure.
No, not the plumber, the basketball player.
Damn.
Yeah, I'm just going to clear that up. But there's a lot of like almost 7 foot tall black guys that play basketball named LeBron James. But he's using stem cells to fucking extend his life so he can play basketball at an elite level for longer. Like instead of doing steroids, he's doing stem cells. Isn't that the same thing as these elite that are killing babies and drinking their blood or whatever the hell they're doing? Aren't they just extending their
Yeah, I
lives?
mean, it could be like a refined form or a basic form. I mean, LeBron James has a giant boulet tattoo on his chest, so it doesn't surprise me that
A
he'd
giant
be
what?
boulet tattoo. You know
Bullet?
yeah, Boule, basically the black skull and bones. Kobe Bryant was part of them. It's basically Martin Luther King was a boulet, and then when he left, he was assassinated. Malcolm X was a boulet. When he left, he was assassinated. It's basically the black secret society that are like the protectors of let's just say the Illuminati, but the protectors of the table. You know, they were originally created to like protect each of the 9 families, each of the 9 of the 13 or 12, depending on what the story that you go by, families, and like the Lee family, the Lee family, like one of the
I
guys that
know
used to own the
them.
Lakers.
I know that. Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, well, one of the guys, I'm pretty. Okay, I shouldn't say that. I gotta find. Not used to own the Lakers, but I had a percent Chinese investor. But I gotta see if I remember if it was him that had the same last name lineage. But yeah, like the Rockefellers, all these people, they're meant to keep race down. They're not meant to. Oprah, Denzel, fucking Al Sharpton, all these people are all part of the Boule Society, Phi Beta Kappa, and a bunch of different types of Greek organizations started in like the late 1800s, mid 1800s, and it's like the Prince Hall Masons. If you're black, you can't just be a regular fucking Mason. You got to be a Prince Hall Mason. You know what I mean? It's fucking stupid. But like, so like they, there's a possibility that they had a hand in Kobe's death. And Jeffrey Steibel, okay, another name. It's a white man that was invested with Kobe Bryant. And it's funny, if you type in Jeffrey Steibel's net worth, Kobe Bryant's net worth comes up for some strange reason. And he's a name to look out for because he's like literally somebody who will and would have benefited from the death of Kobe. And Kobe was 3 days after his death was supposed to go testify against the grand jury, I believe, for or have an arraignment for a case where he was in litigation with a couple pharmaceutical companies for stealing his name, Black Mamba, and tainting the drug with fentanyl. And so a lot of crazy shit going on. The connections to Bill Gates and stuff like that. It's fucking, dude. The foundation. The foundation of the structure is good, but the beams are starting to. The beams are they're full of termites. I don't know. My metaphor fell apart halfway through it.
No, I'm totally feeling you on that, and I appreciate you bringing that up because I really had none of that information. I mean, I know quite a bit about the Illuminati and secret societies, but goes to show you learn something new every day. I had no clue about Boule or.
Remember we were speaking about. I texted you when this whole Pay Sewer Trust thing came out, and like the Pay Sewer Trust, like who the Pay Sewer family is. They're like a French family from back in the day. They like they have like I don't know if they're part of the Merovingian bloodline or something, but yeah, like they had a trust, 100-year trust for railroads and GE and General Motors and blah blah blah, and now all of a sudden there's a possibility that we've retaken control of the treasury, which is a good thing. And now I don't know. It seems as though there's like a parallel economy being built right now, sort of. That's like running alongside the displayed economy, and it's
Yeah,
like
no, you're
the
totally right about
reason.
that. In fact, the
And we're coming off
mhm.
of the OPEC dollar, or like the coming off of a oil standard,
Yeah,
which might be good, but
there's an
what standard are we
organization.
going to?
I think it's called the World Economic Forum. I might have that wrong, so don't quote me on that. But they actually, if you go to their website, they kind of show you the fact that we are in a they call it the fourth industrial revolution. That all the stuff that's happening right now is actually being designed because we're about to enter into a new industrial revolution, but obviously it's going to be a different type. There's going to be all this control, and it's all going to be Bitcoin, and all the small mom and pop businesses are going to be gone, because that's one of the points of COVID and the riots, is to kill middle America, kill the small business, kill the middle class. That's why they're destroying all the small
Kill the
businesses.
older people so that you could kill the older people so you could take the Social Security money.
Yeah, population reduction is also part of it. But at the end of this, I don't know if you've been paying attention to the economy, the Dow. It's just up, down, and it's not really bouncing back like we want it to. We think it's going to. In fact, a lot of people think it's just going to keep tanking until it bottoms out, and then it turns into Bitcoin. It seems a little bit too simple. I'm sure it's going to be more complicated than that. But that's the basic idea, is that we're going into a different type of currency and a different way of interacting with the world, a different way of doing business. Basically, we're all going to be fucking corporate zombies.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny you mentioned that. Like, I just recently, I was out of work for about 2.5 years, and I was doing stand up. I've been doing stand up for going on 4 years, and so I didn't have a job for about 2.5 of those years, and I just recently got a new job, very corporate, very cubicle. It's a very good job. I love the work and all that, but I've already can tell that like my creative juices have like slowly diminished, and I've just been copy pasting all day.
Unfortunately, the world and the way that things are set up, like even our school system, it is so stifling to your spirit and your creativity, because nobody wants to be a fucking slave. We all want to be kings. We all want to be able to have leisure activities all day long, or at least a healthy balance where we work maybe 6-8 hours a day, and then we go do other stuff. But these corporations just want more and more. They don't, it's not good enough for us to work 40 hours a week. They want 50 hours of our time, and they don't care what happens to us, because there's a long chain of fucking snakes and scummy people that have to make profit in some way off of our work. Our work goes to pay all the people that are fucking bossing us around. Why do I have to work to pay the guy that's bossing me around? It doesn't make sense. That's where a small business comes in. I have freedom. I don't have to put up with that. Getting rid of small business means no more possibility of freedom. It's only stifling shit. It's being a corporate drone and not being able to live that sort of free, creative life where I think you're like me, where you feel like it's better to have freedom and ability to express yourself rather than make a lot of money and be stuck in a fucking cubicle.
Yeah, and of course, I mean, it's not even, you know, it's not even like people think that, there's no, how should I, like, there's I can't find the words, but like corporations don't even mask it anymore. It's like everybody knows it's a fucking drag, and it's a grind, and it's like you're meant to hate it. You're not even meant to like it, and it's like it starts with that. You already wake up and don't want to go to work, and like they make it so that the steps the steps are. So what do you do when you get off work? You're so fucking excited to get off work. I'm gonna go grab a beer, or I'm gonna, or like, so, and then you just consume more because you're off of work. You know what I mean, though?
basically it kind of sucks because you're excited to get off work, but by the time you get off, you don't have a whole lot of energy left, and you have only so many options. It's like, okay, I
Yeah,
just blew
yeah,
my wad for the day.
yeah.
I can go drink, but pretty soon that's gonna get old. You go home and you're like playing video games, and what does that do for
Yeah.
you to go work for somebody else and go fucking work for their retirement? Just to go home and play some video. I love playing video games. I love fucking video games. But the truth is that when I get that extra fucking materia in Final Fantasy or I beat the boss, it doesn't do jack shit for my actual life. It doesn't make my life any better.
I know.
I love video games.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's not a knock on that. It's just that what it is just, yeah, you know, we have, yeah.
I want my time to go towards my own retirement. I don't want to pay for the boss's retirement out of my check. I want to make the money that the owner's making or the management is making so that I can actually retire and not have to keep being a slave when I'm 60 or 70 years old. That's what sucks. And that's why you're doing stand-up comedy. Everybody needs to do something that will allow their fucking heart to sing and won't stifle them and kill their soul and make them just want to get into the grave faster.
Yeah, it's it's a way to, obviously everybody needs an out, like video games aren't a hobby, you know. I consider that extracurricular time. Extracurricular time isn't hobby time. I think you should have scheduled hobby time, talking, stuff like this. I think podcasting, creating, you know, even though I hate that term content creator, so fucking, you know, pretentious. It's just like, but it's good for you. It's therapeutic. Hobbies should be therapeutic. When the hands are busy, the mind is at ease. You know, like go to learn woodworking or metalworking, or learn how to, or go hiking, or, you know, learn about when you go hiking. Don't just go and exercise. Try to take a book and maybe go bird watching, or fucking take a look at some local plants or flowers that grow indigenously to that. You know,
do something old-fashioned. Go fishing. Go hunting. Go into the woods. Like, do what people would naturally. I don't want to be like all Joe Rogan'd out, but go fucking hunting. Go fishing. Do the natural things that people really would do if they were living naturally. You know, my whole thing is, like, there's a long time where I did want to kind of be famous, because if I was to become famous, I would be able to do the show and perform against in front of way more people. Way more people would hear my message, etc., etc. Everything would be better. But now I'm fucking terrified of it, because I know as soon as I reach that next tier, they are going to fucking flay me alive because of everything that I've set up to this point.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like, like, you know, and it's so hard. I mean, okay, this is the internet right now. Okay? In I think the year Secretariat won the Triple Crown, one of those Triple Crown races was, people suspected it to be fixed.
You're talking about horse racing?
You could see horse racing, yeah. And I think if you will go back and watch the race, the horse that comes in second, the jockey's like trying to rein him back, and the fucking horse is like, it's running with its head sideways practically, because the jockey's like pulling him back so hard. The nose of the horse is bleeding. It's just trying to win. And like that's like those are your Twitter followers right now. There's like all these numbers. Like, you know, it's so funny, because I'm a subscribe. I listen to Coast to Coast, and on YouTube they have a Coast to Coast channel, and it's been at like 380,000 followers for a year, which is ridiculous. Which is, you know, who you fooling, you know? So I swear to God, I've commented that it was 380,000 followers, and I said, wow, it's weird. You've been stuck at 380,000 followers for so long. It's kind of weird. The very next day, it was at 340,000 viewers. It lost 40,000 viewers. It lost 40,000 subscribers in one day.
That's suspicious. Well, I was watching that. You've seen 300, right? Super old movie, really famous.
Of course. Sure.
And
it's not that old. Or
yeah. Well, the Spartans are. They say we're free. We're free. We're fighting for our freedom. But the other side, the Persians, all of those people that were fighting on that side were not fighting because they were wanting to. They were forced to. They were enslaved. And they're even like whipping them, like, you go. That's us. We're like the Persians. We're all getting assimilated and we're all being made to fight, but our hearts aren't really in it.
Yeah, rot and assimilate. Yeah.
Unlike the Spartans.
It's a song from Skinny Puppy.
The Spartans.
Too hard to annihilate. Sorry, go on.
The Spartans were doing what they wanted to do, which was fight and defend their homeland. If your heart is in it, if you're doing what you want to do, it's a superpower.
Yeah. It's like that whole notion of when football coaches talk about you got to buy into the system. It's so true. Or like video game. This is another thing on with video games too. If you've like your team, you could if you're a good leader, you got to get your soldiers you got to get your team to buy into the system, which means if you do your job, what you're supposed to do, exactly how you do, you will win. And it's like, it's sort of like that.
I like that analogy,
buying into
and
the system.
It does make me, I hate to just like talk about the same shit everybody else is talking about, but it makes me think about Trump, because in my opinion, he does not have that. He does not have the ability to win people over. He has an incredible ability to manipulate the people that already feel a certain way and get them on his side. But I don't feel like and I think even Obama, I hate them both. I don't like Trump. I don't like Obama. They're both corrupt. But I think Obama was 100 times better at speaking and reaching the person that wasn't like already on his side. Like he would probably be able to calm people down during all these riots and protests, whereas Trump makes the left 100 times more angry and wanting to kill everybody. I think that like if Obama was president, I'm not a Democrat. I'm not kissing Obama's ass. Don't get me wrong. I'm just being honest. I'm being real. I think Obama would be 100 times better at calming people down and getting them to get along with each other. And I know part of that is because he's just half black and people would listen to him. But go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that, but I just have to suspect that if Obama was president, that these riots and this looting and stuff wouldn't even happen. Not because the world was such a better place, but because that side, that's not the tactics that they use to rally the system. I don't think that, you know what I mean? Like, this seems to be the riots and the looting seems to fit perfectly into the notion for like the Democrats. So when you're revolting, it's good for them. But if you have your guy in, that's bad for them to do it. So they wouldn't even do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I know I shouldn't say this. I don't want to, but even with the guest that was on earlier, Maximus, as soon as he got off the air, you were kind of like, you know what, Daniel, there's something a little off or suspicious about that. He was a little bit too on the fence. He mentioned when he first came on that he basically went from the protester side over to the Proud Boys. Like, how do you go from, like the Proud Boys will kick your ass. That's what they do.
No, I don't necessarily believe that. The Proud Boys, like, yeah, I mean, I feel so like the whole thing with Gavin and all that shit. Like, this is what they do. They infiltrate a system that's working. They steal the system. They infiltrate it. They use it as a different symbol. They did it doing it with Islam. They did it with the Jews. They they've done it with black people for years, and like now it's just the same exact thing. They took the Proud Boys, that was a goof. It wasn't even a real fucking thing before. All it was there was to go and give Gavin a little bit of protection because he was getting his ass beat by Antifa anytime he tried to make a public speech, and that turned into a whole thing. So now it's like they took over the Proud Boys and like use it as a far right, fucking a far right organization, and so like, but yeah, I know what you mean, like, but I mean that's this is the most fucked up part. See, poor guy, I don't even know the guy, and like I'm suspect about how cool he is with everybody. That's so fucked up. I don't want to think that
I noticed
way,
when he said
conditioned.
When he said that he moved from out of state, you were like, oh.
Yeah, like were you brought in?
Yeah.
Like you just started protesting a year and a half ago when you moved to Washington. I don't know the guy. I'm not saying this is right or wrong, but the thing is, the more important thing is, fuck, dude, why do I have to feel that way? And it's not just because of us. It's like we've been conditioned,
and we're not accusing Max or Maximus of anything. We're just telling all of y'all out there how paranoid we feel because of what's going on. We're literally suspicious of everybody, so we're not throwing shade or making accusations.
And
disclaimer.
Like, I was even saying, I'm like, oh, this guy, like, he's physically fit, black guy, he looks like somebody that paid protesters would be attracted to have on their side. He's like, so I don't know, but for the most part, I agree with what he said. But he did kind of dodge slightly dodge the question about if he thinks that there's a military coup, and I do believe that there's definitely some shady going on between the Navy Marines and the Army Air Force, or maybe not Air Force so much, but definitely the Army.
Yeah,
and CIA, FBI, I think they're starting to go at war with each other too, and like we're starting to see, whereas all these government agencies were working together, we're actually starting to see that it's better if they stay apart and have checks and balances over each other, not collude to control things, where 5 people essentially from 5 different organizations could essentially, conspire together and get the pertinent amount of information needed to do stuff like this, like get generals on board to fucking, stage what happened in Turkey, basically. I mean, not too long ago.
Yeah, good points. Dave, we are moving into the night, so I'm going to take a little break and let you go for now so I can jump on Skype and take a few calls from the guys that weren't able to call in earlier. But I do appreciate you coming on, and just like anybody else, go ahead and hop up on that soapbox, say whatever you'd like to say, and follow it up with your plugs, of course, buddy.
Thank you very much. I am on Twitter at Dave Exhale, DAVEXHALE. I'm on Twitch, The Exhale, THEXHALE. My name is Dave Sarra. I have a YouTube channel, DAVESARRA. You can find some stuff. It's not really super active, but I'm gonna start putting a lot more stuff on recently. Not a lot more stuff on soon. My podcast, brand new. It just started. My friend Terry, excellent co-host. You Have Died from Dave and Terry. We're going to work out the kinks. We're going to hopefully have more shows. I don't know what days exactly every single day, but check out for it. And there you go. Thank you so much, Daniel. I love your show. I love talking to you. You got such a good fucking head on your shoulders, dude.
Thank you.
You know what's going on. You go a little crazy on Twitter, but I love that. So you know, all the best, man. I hope you have a great rest of the show.
Heck yeah.
I'm gonna be waiting for your call to ask me on again. So whenever you're ready, I'll be back.
Yeah, we'll always have you on here, Dave. We're sister shows with your podcast. So I wish you luck, of course. I'm very proud of you, very impressed with you, especially seeing you get so woke and smart to some of these topics. You know, it's really
I don't
refreshing.
like that term woke.
Sorry. But none of
that woke shit around here.
I enjoy having you like along for this because it's a little less lonely. So I really appreciate you, buddy.
Oh, thank you. All right, man. You have a great day. Thank you again. Okay, I'll see you, bud.
See you, bud. Night. All right, that was our buddy Dave. Now you're just seeing me up on the screen, but let me pull up the proper graphic so that I can hop off of Zoom. And that will be that. That should free everything up. Let's see how. Get out of Zoom. And I'm going to go ahead and take a little break. I've got some music to play if I could find it. Let's play some of Al's music. I don't know if he's still with us in the chat, but let's play some of his stuff. And like I said, I'm going to go take a little whiz. And then I'm going to come back and we're going to just jump on the phones because I couldn't take any calls when I had Zoom going. So I'm off of Zoom. I'll pull up Skype and we'll see if Todd wants to call in. We'll see if anybody else wants to talk. And then we'll bring things to a close. But enjoy. And welcome back to these last days. I am your host, Daniel, broadcasting to you, unfortunately, without any actual video. I don't know if it's possible for me to transfer the video from Zoom and get it working again. But I'm not going to worry too much about it, because as long as you can hear me, you've seen me enough. You've seen me plenty. You don't need to see me anymore. If you'd like to call in to End of Days Radio, we're opening up the lines. That's 209-348-9810. Once again, that's 209-348-9810. That's the number. You heard it here first. The End of Days. Did I not tell you that this was coming? Did I not tell you for many, many years that we were in the last days of yore? Did I not tell you that these things were going to happen? Oh yes, I did. I did, in fact. And you know what's funny? I think I can actually use the normal camera that I was using, but that's over and done with, so no point in splitting hairs about that, especially while I'm live. But I just realized that I didn't need to do all that. I could have kept myself up on there and it would have made no difference, because Todd could hear me when I was on Zoom. I didn't need to get off of there. But oh well, it's okay. We're just going to go a little bit longer. I do have a few more things I wanted to talk about. I did want to... Is Todd, are you going to call in, buddy? I'm hoping you call in, because this was kind of like your time to shine. I mean, I've got stuff to talk about, but I know everybody out there is like, fuck, we almost had our Todd fix for the day, and then it got ripped away from us. And I know everybody out there loves Todd the Bod, so I want to reserve a little bit of time for him. But I do have plenty to talk about. We can carry things until we get a call from the great one. Oh, there he is. There he is. Oh, I was getting worried there. Hello.
Hey, Daniel.
There he is. I was getting worried.
Did I miss my mark? Did I call in 90 seconds past when I was supposed to, or am I on time?
You're fine.
That's just right.
You're fine. I was getting worried because I just didn't know what to think. I didn't know if you were coming or not. I didn't know if you were coming or going, or I just didn't know. I was scared. But you're here now.
Well, I've been on the chat tonight.
And we are blessed. We are blessed to have a call.
No, I am blessed to hear your show and give us this platform. Pretty amazing, buddy.
Yeah. And, oh, man, where do we start?
I would start. I'll just start right out the gate, Daniel. Let me just put my most obnoxious thoughts out first. This whole thing's leading to the giant one world order police state with the United Nations going to run us. And they've been practicing it for a long time. Jade Helm and the AI and all of our tax dollars, Daniel.
I agree. And not only our tax dollars, but the money that they can print up at will, because they don't have the spending limits that we do. They can print up money to pay these Antifa guys.
So it doesn't matter what you think, right, wrong, or whatever. There's a system that's running the program that's driving you towards the one world government.
Exactly. They're going
to show you a bunch of pictures. They're going to show you a bunch of pictures that get you upset. Remember, Daniel, what I told you about anthropology?
Yes.
How they studied tribes, never seen advanced civilizations, and they noticed the witch doctors in the head of the tribe, and form patterns throughout the tribe and they control them.
Todd, it's funny that you bring that up because I was talking to a lady earlier and she was, I don't know if this stuff is true. It's all just kind of theory and speculation, but she was telling me that the pyramids and a lot of the structures that we think are something else in the ancient world, they are actually for some sort of mind control frequencies.
The pyramids are putting out mind control frequencies?
Maybe. That's a theory that somebody had. Me personally, I'm not sure I would...
Dude. I would more believe that they're spraying stuff constantly, pouring stuff into our waters.
We also have
just shooting stuff.
We also have HAARP.
Oh yeah, whoever these guys are.
HAARP is weather modification, and it fits into the same world as the chemtrails. So the idea before was that HAARP and the chemtrails were working together to carry the signal, and it seems that it might be 5G. 5G is kind of taking HAARP and spreading it all around and giving it more capability. It's almost like 5G is a booster for HAARP, if that makes sense.
Daniel, yeah, it does. And it makes me think back, Daniel. People always say, oh, your government couldn't do that. Our government would never do that to you. It's because it's not your government. It's not your government that's doing it. You know what I mean, Daniel?
Yes.
The United States isn't spraying the chemtrails. Private contractors are or something,
Exactly.
They're fudging this, how they're doing this. A long time ago, they got out of the government and then they drove it over to the corporations. Daniel, notice how all the corporations are putting out commercials and moving right along with the pandemic, and then the riots, protesters singing, and the videos are feeding out. The viral videos are shooting out. Tonight, a black guy passed out in Wendy's parking lot.
I was watching that video. I was watching that video earlier, Todd. I know what you're talking about. You're talking about the video where the gentleman is in the drive-through. He nods off. Everybody's talking about it, but he nods off. The cops try to give him a field sobriety test. They're wrestling with him. The guy's big and strong, so he starts tossing the police around. Grabs one of their stun guns. They can't get a handle on him, so they kind of panic because he's getting away. Yeah, you hear it.
Yeah, and then they shoot him. That's the wrong response. But Daniel, if he was running towards like a young child or something, would that have changed it? And they shot him? If there was a kid in the way or he's running towards somebody, would that change the perspective? They're setting up a ton. They're setting up a ton of court cases, Daniel, of all these horrible police videos they're catching, and the media is twisting everybody's minds, using every bit of information and video they can get right now to frame their narrative that they're pushing. And remember O.J. Simpson? That went on forever. The L.A. riots, that went on forever. Daniel, you notice how if it's anything good for the people, it never happens. Society doesn't change towards the good of the people. But if the government or whoever runs this world wants it to change, it happens in a lightning flash.
Yes.
Like shut everyone down and make them stay in their homes, and happens overnight.
Well, my problem is that it's happening a little bit too fast. I was halfway ready for the end of days, but even I would always tell people, you'd hear me talk about on the show, I'd be like, I don't know when the end of days is going to happen. It could happen 1,000 years from now. Nostradamus says it's about 1,000 years away. So I did not really fully entertain the idea that it was right around the corner. And just like most people out there, I'm getting caught a little bit with my pants down. It doesn't matter what you think is going on. It doesn't matter if you think it's a transition, a reset, an awakening, a falling asleep, whatever you think it is, it's major and it's happening, and the consequences mean an entirely different way of life and an entirely different world we're going to be living in.
You couldn't have picked a better name for the end of your show. For the name of your show.
End of days. We're doing it again.
End of days. It lends itself to songs. And yep, Daniel, you're psychic there. You're prophetic. That choosing that name. In my opinion,
I wish it wasn't true.
Wow, if you're gonna name your show, it's like, whoa.
I wish it wasn't true, because I've said this before on the last two shows, but
people come on your show that never listened to your show before. They don't even know, kind of understand or whatever, that you picked that name long ago, and you've been hosting all these incredible personalities and expanding all our minds and the whole time.
As vindicated as I feel, It honestly kind of sucks, because as happy as I am that it is finally happening and I could yell in everybody's faces, nah, I was right, you were wrong. That that gives you like 2 seconds of pleasure.
No.
And then you have to go back and you have to live in the world with everybody else. Nah, I was right, you were wrong.
That's horrible.
It's the end of the world.
We're all gonna die. That's horrible.
Near. We're all gonna die. Near. Buy golden Bitcoin. Near.
I hate anybody selling vitamins or
World War III with China. World War III with China and the Soviet Union, Iran. Okay, it's getting old.
I tend to despise anything that sounds like the establishment's pushing it. That's me, though.
Yeah, it's hard to tell, because if I wasn't me, I would probably think that I'm one of them. In fact, I do think that sometimes. I look in the mirror.
What's happened to you? You are one of them.
I look in the mirror and I say, "You're an agent, aren't you?"
You're watching too much Sean Hannity. Or you find yourself watching Sean Hannity a little more lately?
I might not be an agent overtly, but when they kidnap me and they erase my memories and they hypnotize me and turn me into a Manchurian candidate, totally different story. They could activate me like that. Say the keyword, Todd. Yeah. Say the keyword, and I turn into a cold-blooded killer.
Which one? Which one is it?
If you say the correct keyword, I don't know.
If I say the keyword, the key, the lock and key. Yeah.
If I knew it, that would be disastrous.
Mind control agents.
Somebody walks up to me and they say, "Oh, tea time," and I go crazy. My eyes turn red, and I pick up the weapon from its hidden location, and I make my way to the assembly point where I put the rifle together, and I take. I shouldn't talk like this.
Yeah, don't do it, Daniel. Don't go to the book depository building at 3:00.
Yeah, I'm getting too deep.
In the afternoon.
I'm going so deep, Todd. I gotta hit the brakes. Otherwise, I'm gonna start getting calls from the Secret Service and the FBI and God knows what other alphabet organizations.
Daniel, it's true. It's true, buddy.
Yeah.
Clyde says he gets them once in a while. He approaches a subject and they get too crazy on it.
Oh, really?
It's getting too close to. Yeah, he's done a bunch of shows where they, not a ton of them, but he's mentioned there's been 2 or 3 where they called him the next day and said, "Better knock off that story," or whatever.
Well, that's not comforting. I don't want to follow in those footsteps.
The ones that he tell you about on radio is he got pictures of camouflage suits where they're invisible. They can make themselves invisible. That technology, and somebody took pictures in exercise where they're practicing being invisible. Daniel, before I let you go, I want to broach one of my, most radical crap I've heard on this whole shit that's going on here.
Go ahead.
What if these are drills, practice exercises, Jade Helm, AI, changing society, putting stickers down when you go into the 7-Eleven, stay 6 feet back. You know what else they say? Stay 6 feet back now in prison as you're going into being guided through the corrals, and then calling it lockdown.
What's really sad about that, Todd, is the fact that they're actually doing this to children. Which might be good in terms of the pedophiles not being able to go near them, but kids need, they need hugs and stuff.
Did you see Elmo on CNN describing the Sesame Street version of what's going on there with the protests?
No, I didn't. I do not watch Sesame Street.
You seen that yet?
I don't watch Sesame Street.
No, it's on CNN. They brought Sesame Street to CNN.
So you're telling me during a serious broadcast they cut to fucking Kermit the Frog?
Yeah, Sesame Street went over and did a thing on CNN describing what's going on with all these protests.
What kids watch CNN? What kids watch CNN? But anyway, sorry. Go ahead. Explain this to me.
You haven't seen Elmo on CNN?
I do not have.
This week?
I do not have TV. I only have internet.
Yeah, me too. I don't watch. Well, I got a TV, but I don't watch it.
I mean, I probably should have seen it on social media or something, but let me guess. They come up with this pre-canned, a pre-canned sort of explanation that's really simplified of.
That's the viral thing they want you to see, so they can set the parameters of what the tension is in society. Fox News, you got Fox News on the right, Daniel, and then you got 15 other stations on the left, and that's people's news. If you watch TV.
Yeah.
So you got the left and the right, and then the only way you'd see any outside opinions is if you looked at the internet, which is more people watch the internet than the news, I would think.
My thing is that
let me say one thing about these protests that people might not understand. The young people are being influenced during this crap to believe that the system is set against them. The system's set against them.
Well, that does not include me. I haven't been a young person in a while now. I miss it.
I'm just saying that looks like the world's been burned out and a giant police state has been built around them. And now they get to grow up in that. Right on, guys, before them. Can't you see how that's horrible, Daniel? They're like, thanks, Mom.
Yeah, well, how do you think I feel?
I get to raise.
The reason, Todd, the reason they are coming out with all these new laws and laws about social media and laws about censorship is because they want to come after me next. They already have the system in place to go after Kevin Hart and the people that are A-listers and B-listers and C-listers and even D-listers, but they have not come up with a way to get the E-listers yet. I am an E-lister, and
Kevin Hart.
Once they figure out how to get all these laws into place, then I am so effed, Todd. I am effed. I'm already effed because I'm so effed. I see myself being effed in the future. That's how effed I am.
You're like Lady Gaga. They own you.
Yeah. Ga 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 ha ha ha. Ga 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 ha ha ha.
Oh no.
Ga 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 ha ha. You know, I spent hours just watching her videos trying to find Illuminati symbolism.
Looking for clues, not looking at her ass, but looking for clues.
You know what's funny about that is she's so popular for being so beautiful and sexy, but her, I don't want to say
like
ass,
the music
her behind is not that great. It's very overrated. It's very flat. She's got it. Lady Gaga has a very flat rear end. It's like a pancake.
Can't even remember what it looked like, actually.
Me neither.
I do like a few of her songs, so.
It's, well, you know, there's a basic. What I'm saying is there's just nothing. You know, you have some of these other celebrities like Jennifer Lopez or Shakira or, you know, ones like that. Lady Gaga, she's just not packing enough junk in her trunk, in my opinion.
But she is packing in audiences, and she's the #1 star in the world, Daniel, that gets hosted at the Super Bowls. So whatever junk she has in her trunk, that doesn't matter. She's making as much money as you can make.
Yes, but no matter how much money she makes, no matter how popular she is, she could literally be a god on this earth, an Illuminati queen, but she will always have a pancake butt.
Yeah.
She will always have a flat, flaccid, empty paper bag booty.
I'll have to look next time. I never really looked. I watched that video.
No, don't look. Don't look, because there's nothing to see.
Don't look, that'll spoil the.
But you bring up a good point, Todd, because, you know, never mind her behind, which you brought up. Never mind her behind.
You brought it up. You said it was flat. I never said anything.
No, I said I was watching Lady Gaga, and you go, "Oh yeah, you were looking at her behind, Daniel."
Oh well, yeah, I might have said that. Pardon me.
Yeah,
probably yes. You're looking at her behind.
So if we can get back on track here, if you can control your urges for 5 seconds, let's get back on track and talk about Lady Gaga's ties to, what's her name? Maria Abramovich.
Mm-hmm.
Did you know that she claims Abramovich? Thank you. Did you know that she claims that she created Lady Gaga?
Yeah, Lady Gaga considers her tutor. Lady Gaga's under the tutorship of Abramovich. Proud of it. Teaching incredible things, yeah.
It's unfortunate that the general populace is too ignorant of these things, that they can't see that obvious connection between those two people, which proves a number of things, including the fact that our pop stars are cloned in a glass jar, basically, to do a little analogy.
That rhymes, but I don't know if that's true.
Oh no, that's true.
Grimes. There's a lyric right there. Pop stars are cloned in a glass jar. Oh, I like that. See, there's a song.
So you're telling me she actually has a song where she talks about pop stars being cloned?
No, you just said that. I didn't.
Oh,
I was commenting on it. You said.
Oh.
Well, who knows? It's cloning.
Oh, okay. Well, anyways.
There's allegation. Who knows? I don't know. What do I know?
Well, I've looked into this, Todd. I researched Grimes, and I found all kinds of pictures of her tattoos. I brought them back to the lab.
Grimes?
I cross-referenced, Grimes. I cross-referenced them. I cross-referenced them with the database, and I found out that pretty much all of her tattoos are Illuminati Saturn tattoos.
Really?
Yes. And
I
also,
don't think I've ever seen a
well, check this out.
tattoo of hers.
She has tattoos of chains going around her arms, and that symbolizes that she is chained by the Illuminati, and she is their mind control slave. And she's Elon Musk's sort of like mind control sex slave, just like how Poppy, that YouTube star Poppy, she's kind of like an MK Ultra
I saw one
abused.
video, yeah.
Yeah, so
Pretty trippy.
these girls, these really super skinny, pasty girls with all the tattoos, they are slaves. They have been mind
And
effed so hard that they can no longer feel any pain.
and they're not super cute either. They're kind of more about their voice or something else.
Nah, they're pretty. I mean, I'm not like that.
Hey, they're not like a supermodel. They're not
Yeah.
Farrah Fawcett.
Yeah. I mean, Farrah Fawcett.
1978.
Yeah, Farrah
Every
Fawcett.
person had a poster in 1978.
The Farrah Fawcett nowadays would be like Scarlett Johansson. Maybe.
Yeah, she's no, Daniel. That's 10 years ago. She's probably an old lady now.
See, I'm getting old. I'm not in touch anymore. I'm like 10 years ago. That's the story of my life. Is everything is 10 years ago. I like the music from 10 years ago, more like 20 years ago. I dress like it's 20 years ago. I use the same like computer shit from 20 years ago. I've become what I've always feared. I've become one of those guys that's just stuck in time.
Well, you broached so many subjects tonight, and I tried to get, onto all the controversial ones. But the other night on Clyde Lewis, they're reporting magnetic disturbances, anomalies worldwide. Earth is tearing apart. I don't know how much quicker, shorter I can say it, but they're having rifts in Earth, giant eddies out in the ocean. Parts of the ocean that they're seeing on satellite, earthquakes everywhere, Daniel.
And while all this stuff is going on, we are still on the brink of war with China.
I know. Is Planet X coming? I'm wondering. Planet X supposed to be coming?
I don't know anything about Planet anything. There's no such thing as a planet. That's just fantasy.
It's causing the earthquakes. Or maybe they're underground blowing stuff up, Daniel, to cause the earthquakes.
You know what I think it is, Todd?
Thousands.
I think these are the birth pangs from Revelations. I think that the birth pangs are getting closer together. This is the end of days, and we are on the brink of the worst thing yet, which is their plan to turn the fucking internet off.
The opening of the seals,
the sixth seal is when they open it, the internet goes off.
The whole world loses their minds once they lose internet connection.
Oh, I'm gonna lose my mind. I've already lost it.
Run out of your house. You can't look at your phone. Totally.
Yes, that's pretty much the idea.
Totally. It could happen.
Well,
weirder shit's already happened.
I can't go without internet, Todd. I have to keep up on my Netflix shows. I have to. Everything I do is through the internet.
Good shows, or is there any new good shows that you're watching? Or
have you watched Ozark?
Ozarks, yeah, with the cheesy that one actor, the one guy.
So Ozark is like the new Ozark is like the new Breaking Bad. Ozark is as good as Breaking Bad.
Yeah. Yep. We watch those.
Oh, you watch Ozark?
Yep, we watch those.
Okay.
2 seasons in.
And there's also there's Fuller House, which is the Full House reunion.
Mm-hmm.
And there's another show I like called The Ranch. It has Kelso in it, Ashton Kutcher.
You know, Daniel, I didn't see that. But do you notice all these trends they got us going on now?
Yes.
You live up there in Seattle where the autonomous zone exists. Fox News has said that that's a new 4-mile microstate.
Can I say something really quick? Todd, can I say something really quick that is just going to like...
Yeah, please do.
It's going to disgust everybody. It's going to shock everybody. It's going to frighten everybody. But, okay, so earlier I almost got into this, but I didn't want to talk about it when the guest was on. But I read that book a long time ago. It's called The Temporary Autonomous Zone, a.k.a. the Taz. It's about, like I was saying earlier, about setting up these sort of pirate communities that don't have rules. Everybody's free to do whatever. But there's actually suggestive stuff in that book that is pedophilia.
I've never heard of it.
Yeah, it's a very famous book, and the Capitol Hill Autonomous Zone is based on this original book called The Taz, The Temporary Autonomous Zone. And I'm one of the few people that actually read this book and know what an autonomous zone is.
You're kidding.
I'm not kidding. There's pedophilia in that book.
No way.
No, I actually talked about it on Twitter already, but nobody even said anything because nobody knows what I'm talking about.
Well, it kind of reminds me of this weird Baron Trump novel where Trump would be the last president and anarchists would gather would challenge him. Reminds me of that.
Yeah, it's kind of like...
Very strange.
The idea is that, I'm this huge rebel against society. I don't follow any of the rules, so I'm going to, like, take pictures of naked little kids and hang them up. That's sort of that's what it says in the book. I'm sorry. I'm just explaining what it says. And that's why I'm really questioning what's going on here. Is this them? Is this the elite satanic pedophiles that are behind this? Are they using this book that references something that I deem as pedophilic? Are they using this particular book on purpose? Was this their plan all along? Was it them that actually wrote this book?
What book?
The Temporary Autonomous Zone, the Taz.
I don't know. You live up there, you tell me.
Todd, you just had your last shot of whiskey tonight, buddy.
I've had a few beers. I was waiting for your show, but...
You just, like, faded out on me, didn't you?
You did what?
You faded out on me. You went to Fairyland, and you were being surrounded by...
Oh, no, I'm just... demons.
By demons. You went to Fairyland and you were surrounded by demons. Satan.
Fairyland. I don't think Fairyland, buddy.
Well, Todd,
I know the difference between Fairyland, but...
Buddy, you sound tired. It's getting late. I'm going to let you go. We'll talk again.
No, I just thought I would, call you. You opened that call-in thing, so... Hopefully we had a good conversation here.
We had a good conversation, but the night is dragging on and it's hour 4 and it is time for me to wrap things up. So I appreciate you calling in, buddy.
All right, wrap this up, Daniel.
And I will talk to you again soon.
Up. And then do the mind-blowing moment of the day without me.
Oh, you want to do that? I was going to skip it. Hold on. Let's do it together.
No, you can do it without me.
No. This is a group project. So, mind blowing. Mind-blowing.
Mind-blowing moment of the day.
Mind-blowing.
Mind.
Blowing your
Blow
mind.
you away, young.
Blowing your balls.
Blowing
Blowing your mind.
your mind, yeah. Oh,
Blowing your ball sack. Blowing your mind. Today's mind-blowing moment of the day would have to be what I just said about the Taz. No, I don't know. You know what? I didn't come up with something. I'm gonna pat myself on the back this time.
This show is just too crazy. This show is just too crazy. You didn't name a mind-blowing moment of any of it.
Yeah, let's just say that the mind-blowing moment of all time was when Trump cleared the protesters and held the Bible upside down.
You love that part? What about when Lady Gaga did that paparazzi song where she bent over?
What? I don't
Have you not saw
want
that
to
video?
see. I don't want to see somebody with a pancake butt bend over. That's gonna flatten out that pancake even more. All right, Todd.
I'm just kidding.
Enough of this.
I'm just kidding.
Enough of this Gaga-ism.
Your show is a comedy.
We will create a new field of study called Gaga-ism, where we dissect every aspect of Lady Gaga and her Illuminati connections. And we obsess about it all day long. It's Gaga-ism.
I bet you get a huge fan club over there.
I think that's what's already going on, because that's how she gets us all paying attention to her. She acts like she has a penis, or she pretends to be in the Illuminati, or she, she's doing this, doing that.
Oh.
All right, buddy. I'm going to let you go.
All right. Take care, Daniel. Great show.
Thanks. Bye.
Peace.
And there you have it. There was Todd the Bod. I'm going to wrap things up because I'm so tired. I'm so tired. We are going to wrap things up, but I'm going to be back next week. I already got a show next Sunday. We're going to go live at, I believe, 8 o'clock. I'm going to be a little bit more better prepared next time. I know that's what everybody wants. So I'll be better prepared, and we're going to hit it. We're going to hit it hard, and we're going to bring the pain. The guest next week is this buddy of mine. His name's Prophet, and he is the one. He's Neo. He's going to free us from the Matrix, and we're going to find out how next week. But until then, I am Daniel, your end of days warrior, the guy that told you that this was going to happen, 10, 11, 12 years ago? I'm the guy who's been on the street corner this whole time saying, beware, beware, the end is near. Beware, beware, listen to me. I'm the guy that was doing that. And if you want to hear more from me, go to endofdaysradio.com, where you can catch up on all the latest about End of Days Radio. Endofdaysradio.com is also where you can donate to End of Days Radio. You can get End of Days Radio anywhere where you can hear podcasts, which includes iTunes, Google Play Store, Stitcher, YouTube. Anywhere you get podcasts, you should be able to get End of Days Radio. And I just want to say, everybody, holy shit, the world's gone crazy. Things get worse and worse every day. But do not despair, for I am here. I have made a choice, and my choice is to not abandon you. My choice is to stick with you through these dark times. My choice is to be that comforting voice in the darkness. Hopefully, I will comfort you and not drag you into my infinite madness. Hopefully, you will not get calls from the FBI in the middle of the night asking you, what do you know about the Illuminati? What do you know about Gaga? Besides the fact that she has a pancake butt. A pancake butt. Okay, you guys, I love you. Have a good night.